జూమ్ మీటింగ్ లో నేను స్టార్ట్ అయినట్టే కదా కనిపిస్తున్నాను.
Please
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్
mute
చెప్పాను.
yourself, Mr. Malila Trivedi.
మ్యూట్ అని చెప్తున్నారు.
Now we are live on YouTube.
Just a moment.
So a very good morning to one and all, and I should say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and some people have joined at midnight also, 12:30. So it's great to see all distinguished personalities here today. On behalf of RSMDACC, Eng.Deptt Arts and Commerce College and the Impish Publishing House, Mumbai, I and Meena Mishra extend a hearty welcome to you all. Today, it is an honor and proud privilege for us to have amidst us a distinguished literature, our chief guest, Kamla Vijayaratne, Sahitya Ratnavina from Sri Lanka. Our guests of honor, distinguished and celebrated poets, Zareen Virji and Santhini Govindan, and all our talented and creative participating poets. Friends, poetry is an expression of our emotions, insights, and thoughts. How each one of us expresses it makes it more beautiful. The choice, use, and arrangement of words reveal the meaning and thought in an amazing way. Each one of us is a master of creativity in his or her unique way. Our cultural backgrounds, our educational backgrounds, our geographical backgrounds give it a beautiful, distinct flavor, which is really marvelous. You can revel, pour out your heart, take refuge, spell out your concerns in a subtle way through your poems. Poetry touches you as the emotions are universal. It is the shortest means to connect. So today, let us share our emotions and the universal bond between us. So, at the outset, I would like to request Meena Mishra ma'am to introduce our chief guest, erudite, very sagacious, Kamla Vijayaratne.
Thank you so much, Manjushri ma'am. It's a proud privilege for me to introduce the guest for today. Kamla Vijayaratne ma'am was born on 15th August 1939 in Ulapanit, a village 15 miles to the south of Canada. She was the eldest of 6 children, her father passing away when she was just 15 years old, leaving an unsophisticated mother who was not equipped to raise a very young family, meant she had to take on the responsibility of raising them, steering them to be successful in their lives, whilst taking charge of her own education. She provided the direction and guidance for her younger siblings who still look up to her for advice. Among many challenges and difficulties that came her way, she persevered and pursued her dreams, built a career and name for herself, fell in love, got married, and raised a family of 3 children, raising them to be happy, successful, and respectable global citizens. The recent death of a loving husband left her deeply saddened, but she continues to persevere, pursuing a very busy life, continuing to contribute to the Sri Lankan society and living the life of a true patriot, a lifelong teacher. At a very young age, she had made in her life's mission to give voice to the voiceless by creatively penning the injustice she sees in the world. Through poetry and stories, many of which self-published, keeping with the themes closest to her heart. She is currently writing a novel called An Untold Story, with a setting of the war-affected, poverty-stricken villages of the North Central province as the backdrop. She is recipient of many awards. She has written many books, contributed to many literary journals, many papers presented at national and international levels, and the list is so long that we can't read it here today. We are glad, privileged, and proud to have you here, dear Kamala ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you very much for those kind words. And could I just express my thoughts? I'm so grateful and privileged to be part of this August gathering today. Dr. Manjushree, Dr. Tanuja, and the organizers of this great international event. I will be failing in my duty if I don't mention Bishaka Sarma, who made this connection possible. So once again, thank you very much for those kind words and for recognizing me and giving me this opportunity to address this great poetic assembly, great poets from all over the world. You had asked for an individual interpretation. You just mentioned that poets are very individualistic. Each poet has his or her own stamp, has her own idea about poetry. So what is poetry then? What is a poem? What is poetry? The stuff of poetry, for example, the content of poetry can a simple flower blooming in your garden be the subject of poetry? Does it always have to be about heroes and heroines? Can a beetle seller selling beetle in the street become the subject of poetry? It's said that the stuff of poetry has no limits. And with that cue, I would like to continue. I would like to illustrate with one of my own poems written recently, published in my latest collection of poems entitled Poems Written in Silence. The title of the poem is Oh Those Minks. It actually came out of a news report that appeared on the TV screen. The news report went like this. Denmark decides to cull 15 million minks. Could this be the subject of a poem? I thought it could be. I would like to share this poem with you. I will read it out and I will share it with you. Oh, these minks, furry birds, furry balls of silvery snow, how their round eyes stare out at the TV screen, so innocent and cute and assured, playfully preening each other's whiskers, well-fed and cared for, loved as they imagine, that is if imagination they have in their tiny weasel heads. Little do they know why they have been nurtured in human habitats, evacuated from their forest homes, fed alien food, freedom curtailed, clustered together in narrow space, that they are bred for slaughter, that their shiny silver coats will garnish the shoulders of wealthy women. Poor mites, nature who made you so beautiful has played you foul. She has made you a shiny coats, death traps and sentenced you to unconditional death. Poor creatures, now you are visited by the COVID-19, not of your seeking, but by man's engineering. You are lambs for the slaughter, thousands and thousands of you. Do you feel that this is a poem? Well, I'm throwing it at you. You know, a poem is supposed to have certain features. One is that the interplay of words and sounds. Does this poem create another level of meaning, a layer of meaning by the interplay of sounds and words? Like little furry balls, you know, what kind of image does it create? Does the poem create imagery? And does it create suggestiveness? Because a poem is supposed to suggest, and that's how it goes into levels of meaning. So here you are, the seemingly beautiful, seemingly happy, and seemingly well looked after. Are they really so? What are they really reared for? You know, the divergence emerges. The minks are well looked after, but are they really well looked after? And of course, the minks in the forest are really rare, very few in fact. And that's why their coats are so expensive. And what has man done? Assembled them, farmed them. They have created farms, 15 million in one farm, and they are to go. So how do the words and the sounds create the meaning? And then a poem is supposed to rouse emotions, stimulate emotions. Does the poem stimulate emotions? What are the emotions? I meant the poem to create indignation and horror. So here are these little creatures, tiny balls of silvery snow. What are they there? What are they reared for? Reared for manslaughter. And is there, I also like to address this issue, is there a poetic language? I believe that poets create their own language. And I use the word garnish. You may think that the word garnish is more appropriate with food. I deliberately use the word garnish because when you garnish food, you actually want to make the food attractive. I mean, this is the kind of picture that emerges on the TV screen. All the foods all the foods presented on the TV, to rouse the consumer's appetite. So I deliberately used it, garnished the shoulders of wealthy women. What are these minks reared for? I mean, to slaughter them and to use their coats for wealthy women to buy and to sort of, to decorate their shoulders, part of their luxurious outfit. What kind of, does the poem arouse emotions then? And then the reflection, what kind of reflection? Does the poem only rouse your emotions? I mean, do you feel sad? Do you feel angry? Do you feel indignant? Do you feel horror? So 15 million minks to be slaughtered all at once. And now, because the minks pose a threat to humans, the very humans have brought them from the forest, evacuated them from their natural home, and then brought them up in the human habitat. And now when they are a threat to humans, they are to be non-summarily slaughtered. So what kind of feeling does that generate? And then, does it stop at that? Does it stop with the feeling? Do we only feel indignant? Don't we also, doesn't the poem engage your mind as well? How do you respond intellectually to this? There are circumstances here that need thought. Like at the very beginning, should animals which live in the forest freely, and very few of them, very rare animals, should they be brought like this and put into concentration camps, prepared for slaughter? And when they pose a threat, just to be killed off like that, millions to be slaughtered like that. So what kind of intellectual response does the poem create? Is this fair? Is this to be allowed? So, and then also the helplessness of the animals, in man's world, how supreme man is, how he makes these decisions, how he can organize, how he can exploit nature, the idea of exploitation of nature, and gross violation of the natural order, especially the word engineering, man's engineering. Man has engineered this. He has engineered the animals to be brought for his advantage, for his consumption, for commerce, and then when the animals pose a threat, to just kill them off, burn them off. Does it create an intellectual reaction as well against the present world order? And I think we are victims of this present world order, where gross consumerism, which affects all of nature, the sky, the earth, the winds, trees, and animals, all are victimized, all are exploited for man's consumption. So is a critique of modern consumerism. I'm asking you, does the poem then, apart from rousing our feelings, our anger, our sorrow, does it also create this intellectual space? And then the technicalities, a poem is supposed to have, apart from engaging the emotions, apart from stimulating the intellect, a poem is also a technical construction. So how do the stanzas relate to each other? How do the stanzas carry the discourse? because I would like to think of a poem as a discourse, a communication. Of course, we communicate differently. And that's where it suggested that poetry is different from prose. So a poet communicates in a special way. And the media, and the media the poet uses, the arrangement of stanzas, the lines within the stanzas, then the use of tropes, the metaphors, like the word engineer, the word garnish, the tropes that he uses, and then also the rhythm. All that creates a discourse. So I think of it as a discourse. And where has the discourse taken us? Do I communicate myself? And do I leave this discourse open for others to take up, for others to reflect, and for others maybe to take action? Poets are not activists. We can't, perhaps, we can create only feelings and stimulate the intellect, but we can't perhaps take political action, which is maybe needed for this kind of, to stop this kind of violence. Economic action, because this kind of economic action needs to be curtailed. But in the last stanza of the poem, I leave the discourse open for others to take up. So, poor creatures, now we are visited by the COVID-19. That itself, even the visitation of the COVID-19 by the Mings is also of man's making, not of your seeking, but by man's engineering. You are lambs for the slaughter, thousands and thousands of you. So is nature also to be faulted? In this context, I would like to remind you of Robert Frost's poem entitled Design, where he suggests that even nature sometimes is not reliable, because nature has made the Mings beautiful animals. They have their silver coats, and they have become vulnerable as a result. Is it the fault of nature, or is it the fault of man who exploits nature? So that's how I would like to illustrate a poem, poetry. But at the same time, poetry is supposed to be lofty, noble, and I don't claim to compare myself with the great artistic creations of Bharat Desh, of India, of Greece, the Odyssey and the Iliad, the Mahabharata and Ramayana. I think these are great poetic constructions. I think incomparable. Some of you might go on to create constructions like that, but I mean, I feel so insignificant, compared to them. So poetry has sometimes been described as the supreme fiction. I read it in a book. I mean, poetry is sometimes described as a supreme fiction. So perhaps the Odyssey becomes supreme fiction. The Ramayana becomes supreme fiction. Is it reality? They create a reality for us, but did these events really happen? And in the retelling, in the form of poetry, the poets, Valmiki, and of course, Homer, they have raised them to that loftiness, which I think is the end of human endeavor, I think, the quintessence of any great culture. So then coming to that point, is a poem only a construction where we arrange stanzas in a particular form, where we create these, can a novel be called a poem? I think you can. I think great novels, a novel like The Rainbow of Lord H. Lawrence, it can, I think, be called a poem, a prose poem. And I think great drama has been written in the form of poetry. I think Shakespeare's great plays, they are poetic dramas. They create poetry. And then in modern times, can you apply it to the visual arts? Like, can a great painting be called a poem? I think it can, because it basically, all these do what a poem does. They engage our emotions. They stimulate us intellectually. They communicate ideas, thoughts, feelings. They are discourses in themselves. Even a cinematic event, perhaps Satyajit Ray is no longer, I think, current, but I think his great films could be described as poems, because they do the same thing. They create this suggestiveness, create layers of meaning, subject to so many interpretations, can be viewed from so many different viewpoints. And the language also, the language communicates so much more than the image itself. So,
such a beautiful introduction of poem. Like never before we heard such a definition, ma'am. It is attending a literature class in a completely new manner.
Thank you very much. Thank you then. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really amazing, listening to you.
We lost you, Meena.
No.
Hello?
Yeah. Now over to Manjushri, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Kamla ma'am. And that was wonderful listening to you and explaining the poetry on wings. And actually it was an intellectual stimulation, emotional stimulation, a reflection on many things. And really you brought home many points of concern. And definitely, we would like to listen more of your poems, more of your interpretations. Thank you for being with us here. And yes, we would continue with our next poet. And our next poet is also a very distinguished personality. And it is an honor and proud privilege for me to introduce her to you. She is Zareen Virji. Zareen Virji, ma'am, is a graduate of the creative right. I'll just in her. Yes, she's there. So welcome, ma'am. So let me introduce Zareen, ma'am. Zareen Virji is a graduate of the creative writing program from the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. For over 3 decades, she has played the role of a teacher trainer, and head of school. Teaching and writing are her twin passions. From 1996 to 2006, she served as the executive editor of the journal Classroom, a safe space for all masters related to education. At present, she heads an international school called the Universal School in Mumbai. Her writing is as much about expressing spontaneous feeling as it is about grappling with socio-economic realities of our times. Her poetry and short stories have been featured in the Research Scholar, Route 57, the West Asian Short Stories 2018, and in The Wire. She was placed second at the prestigious International Hummingbird Poetry Prize 2020. Her first book, Gopal's Gully, was published in Duckbill Books, an imprint of Penguin Random House, India, in February 2021. So over to ma'am, Zareen Virji ma'am. We are eagerly waiting to listening to you.
Thank you, Manjushri ma'am. A very good morning to you. It is 1 a.m. in the US, so it is very early in the morning. I'm grateful to Ms. Meena Mishra for inviting me here, and grateful to Ms. Manjushri for all the support that you have given me. And really delighted with the masterclass that we have just witnessed, a masterclass in creative writing from dear Kamla ma'am. Wonderful to see all the poets here. And I would like to present two pieces. One is, the first one that I'm going to present is about the migrant workers and their plight during the lockdown in 2020. So this is how it goes. The long walk, livelihood shut, food scarce, virus scare. You view news, Netflix, Sensex, and tut about the migrant crisis. I walk, a pot or two bundled on my head. I walk. You worry, housework, kids at home, groceries dwindling, sanitizer levels dipping. I walk. The sun scorches, feet calloused, and I walk. You try new recipes, new poses, vitamin C, hot water gargles. I walk, lathi raised, disinfectant sprayed. I still walk. You play songs, board games, cards, any kind of time pass. I walk. Village reached, entry closed, I stop. You video call, Singapore, UK, US, you care for them all. Nowhere to walk. Hunger, fatigue, thirst. Which one will get me first? Now I present the second one, and this is dedicated to rape victims anywhere and everywhere. And it is titled The Killing Fields. An evening, just another evening chore, collecting animal fodder by the ripening rice fields. The wood smoke from the distant dwellings winds its way up. The sky darkened, the shadows lengthened, her steps quickened, while her plain cotton dupatta gathered the evening breeze. The same evening, just another evening out for these four men, gelled and jeans clad, mounted on their diesel chariot, their eyes roved right and left, settling on the girl whose head was heaped with hay. Just the tonic they needed, quite a prized quarry. This gang of neighborhood louts, savages, beasts, call them what you will, they scuttled, they hooted, and dragging her further afield, they looted, soiled, and ravaged her clothes, her flesh, her innards. The more she bit, the more she screamed, the more she dug her nails into their muscled forearms, the more they squealed. With deep grunts, guffaws, and name-calling, they finished, not forgetting to twist the dupatta round her neck. Their feudal swagger was heightened to bursting point. After all, a vital lesson's been taught to the girl and her kin. Ragdoll-like, her flailing limbs fell silent, bit by bit. The rice stalks, crushed and dehusked, lay waste beside her. But the liquid, viscous red, trickled and seeped into the soil in preparation for the rabi crop. Will it feed and breed yet another crop of savage beasts? An incident, just another incident. It happens not only in India. Thank you.
Very touching, and the line, it happens not only in India, right? You know, it's very touching, touching all the social problems also, showing our helplessness. It's very thought-provoking, making us really feel that we are helpless, but still there are so many things we can do about it. Madam, you really touched our thoughts. Thank you for those emotionally charged words. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And now to Meena Mishra, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Zareen Virji, ma'am. It really keeps us thinking, like, that as a society, what are we heading towards? When can we stop it and how can we stop it? That is the question, that it has been the case for so many years. And then somewhere there has to be a comma, a full stop, but how? That's the question. Thank you so much. And now we introduce our another guest of honor, Santini Govindan ma'am. She is an award-winning author of children's literature. She has more than 50 published books for children. Her work includes poetry, picture books, short stories, chapter books, and non-fiction. She has been awarded 2 fellowships in literature from the Government of India for research projects connected to children's literature in India. In October 2018, she was awarded a Lok Sabha fellowship to write a book to introduce children to the role and function of Indian Parliament. She has written for several English language readers that are widely used in schools across India, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. Actually, I have gone through some of her poems that are prescribed in the book. And that is how, it came to my mind that, as a poet, I mean, that's an absolute pleasure when students read your poems in the textbook. So you can understand, like, you are reaching out to the younger generation. You are reaching out to the people, the hearts that really need it. And that, when we talk about Zareen Virji ma'am's poem, and when I was wondering, like, how can we bring the change? This is how we can bring the change. We have to mold the minds when they are really, really young. So this is what she does through her poems. A warm welcome, dear Santini Govindan ma'am. Over to you. You are on mute, ma'am. Please unmute yourself. Can we do something?
No, it is from her side only. She needs to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we
Okay.
can, yes.
So thank you so much, Manjushri, for inviting me. Thank you to Meena Mishra. It's a pleasure to be here. It was wonderful listening to all the poems so far. So as Meena Mishra has introduced me, I am a writer for children's literature. So actually, I asked her that would it be appropriate for me to be here because I write poetry for children. And she said, no, you are a poet. So here I am. So two things I would like to say. Most of my poems, I enjoy writing poetry more than anything else. And it happened by chance that my poems were picked up and they were, academic publishing companies started using them. So now I'm widely published in academic circles. So I decided that maybe I should make a collection of just poetry, which I did. And then came the uphill task of finding a publisher. No publisher wanted to touch the poetry book because they said the poems are good and you are well known, but in India, nobody buys poems for their children. So it was an uphill task. It took me several years, but yes, some people told me, why don't you self-publish? I thought about that. But before that, I did find a traditional publisher who was ready to take on my poetry book. So it's called To Catch a Poem. It has been published in March this year. And there are 100 poems of 27 different varieties. So this is a way to introduce children to many of the different facets of poetry. There are 4 different rhyme schemes. There are haikus, there are limericks, there are shaped poems, which are visual poems, where the poem is written in the same shape as the subject. There is metaphors, there are similes, personification. So it is a way to introduce children to the wonders of poetry. And the book is called To Catch a Poem. And I did not write an introduction, the traditional introduction. I wrote a poem and it's called To Catch a Poem. So I'm going to read you the introduction. And I think that will tell you a little about what the book holds. To catch a poem. I want to catch a poem, but I'm not sure how. I wish I knew when and where I could catch a poem right now. Can I catch a poem in the sand on a beach or hiding in fields of long green grass? Can I catch a poem among the waves in the sea? I'm not sure where I can catch a poem, alas. Will I be able to catch a poem with a loop of rope? Can I use the rope to lasso and bind the poem up tight? Will I be able to catch a poem with a butterfly net? Will the net stop the poem from slipping out of sight? Can I catch a poem when I'm playing outdoors? Or can I catch a poem from under my bed? Oh gosh, as I thought about where I could catch a poem, I caught a poem. It was right inside my own head. So this is just to teach children that all poems come from your own head. So when you want to catch a poem, you don't have to go far. You can just look at your own mind, and that's where the poem is. I'm going to read you one more poem. This is a list poem. Everyone knows, and as we grow older, we always make up lists. Lists of things that we should do, things that we shouldn't forget, things that we have to buy. There is a category of poem called list poetry, and children love it because it's mainly consists of making a list. So my poem is called The Sparrow's Nest. A few tiny twigs and some stout sticks, several dried up leaves and pieces of broken bricks, a few tiny feathers so soft and light, a scrap of colorful ribbon looking so bright, a ball of fur and some stalks of hay, a piece of string lying on the way, a little mud rolled into a small round clump, a bit of moss in a soft green lump, a crumpled up tissue, a cotton wool ball. But wait, that is not all. Some scraps of cloth and bark from a tree. When I peeped into a sparrow's nest, these were all the things I could see. The little sparrow had bound them together to make a fine place, a strong nest that was warm, cozy, and safe. So this list poem lists all the things that the sparrow used to make her little nest. So in my book, this is a list poem. There are also recipe poems. As I told you, there are more than 100 poems of different types. The book is available on sale on Amazon, and it's a nice introduction to teach children the elements of poetry. I have deliberately kept all the poems light because I feel there's so much of sorrow in the world that I need not add to it. So I hope that children will enjoy reading these poems and savoring what poetry is. And I hope that once they read my book to catch a poem, it will encourage them to try and catch a poem themselves too. Thank you.
That was wonderful, ma'am. And really, you know, that is the difference between a common man and a poet. The observations, yes, the routine things, the common things are really in the hands of the poet. They are really made into a wonderful poetic, poetry. So we all enjoyed your poems, ma'am. Thank you very much. Yeah. And now we move on to our next poet, Anuradha Chelia. Is she there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yes, she's there. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Shall I go ahead?
Wait. Yeah, let me introduce you. So friends, we have with us Anuradha Chelia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly.
Yeah, Chelia.
Chelia. She hails from the quaint town of Banting, Selangor, and she received both her primary and secondary education at her birthplace before she was offered a place to continue her tertiary education at University Putra, Malaysia. University Putra, Malaysia, UPM. Anuradha completed her first degree in the field of human development, followed by her postgraduate degree, a master's in teaching English as second language from the same university. Anuradha has been a teacher for the past 15 years, and currently she teaches English at Sekolah Kebangsaan Sri Langat, Banting. Given her strong passion for literature, Anuradha is actively involved in many student upliftment activities, organizing educational events, coaching and mentoring students for essay writing and poetry recitation competitions. Her personal aim is to inspire young minds to realize and continuously develop her inner potential. As a prolific writer, for the past 6 years, Anuradha spends her time creating literature in both Bahasa Malaysia and English. Her literary work, which includes poems, essays, and short stories, have been featured in publications including Anak Sastra, Iris Magazine, Eccentrica, The Star, and Malaysia Indian Anthology. Then we have some of her anthologies mentioned here: Busana Bahasa, Landasan Hidup, Peluru Aksara, Mirada Kabus, and Suara. Some of the anthologies that feature her writings in Bahasa Malaysia. Her poems have also been published in Dewan Budaya by Dewan Bahasa Dan Pustaka. Anuradha's writings are deeply centered on life and its eccentric happenings. Anuradha has also contributed as an associate editor for a project on short stories. Yes, so we welcome you, ma'am, and I invite you to present your poems.
Thank you very much, Madam Manjushri and Madam Meena for having me here. Thank you to Dr. Bishaka as well for bringing me into this platform where I'm here with all the inspiring poets. Listening to Madam Shantini earlier, I became like a child, okay, enjoying my childhood. And listening to Madam Zareen, it provoked me how a woman should be. And Madam Kamala really gave a thought-provoking poem Okay, they really said that anything can be a poem, anything can inspire us humans, men, women, children. So poetry is everything. So anything can be put into words. Okay, let me start by reciting my poem. I have two here. One is titled First, and the other one is titled Eulogy. So I will start with the first. The first. The smile on the face brightened someone. It gave pain to the other. The harder the push, the stronger the pain. First cry brought laughter to all, taking away the burdens and sorrows. First crawl and step cheered everyone, bringing happiness and joy. First fall teared and pained, like a deep wound in the heart. First word so courageous, like a wisdom to the world. First separation created discipline for a leader to be born and rule. First victory brought confidence and poise to a wonderful human born here. First teaches, molds, inspires, creates the beginning of all beautiful endings. The next one is titled Eulogy. This came about after someone told me to write a eulogy for them, but he is still around. He just wanted a eulogy, which he wanted to know what people would say after he is gone. So this prompted me to write a poem. I hear it, but it's really far, a distance not known, trying, really trying. And I heard it. Ah, now you tell me, you were kind, you were prompt, you were hardworking, never before. Your dedication made me who I am today. Your love made me a better person. Your guidance gave me the courage to move on. Oh no, I'm not listening, and I just can't. When I was with you, when I did it for you, when you wanted to thank me, should have just said it. Just missed the moment that will never be back. All is gone, just gone. Now it's pointless sharing. Thank you. That's all from me.
That
Right.
was wonderful. Yeah, Meena,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, after you.
So that was interesting, and all the firsts, yeah. And to come to an end also, we need to start. So all the firsts were really interesting first. Yes. And that eulogy was also very touching. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And the best part is that someone who is there, wanted to know, what people would say once I'm gone.
Yes, that's right.
That's really good. If suppose I like you, I love something in you, why can't I tell you now when you are around instead of waiting for that day?
Yeah, that's really true, ma'am. That's really true.
That was wonderful, Anuradha ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we move on to another foreign poet, Vansu Kim. Can we have your camera on, please? Sir. Vansu Kim, are you there?
Yes, I
Okay.
We would like to see you. Such a handsome poet we have amongst us.
Can you see me?
Right now, no.
No?
Switch on your camera. Your video is off.
Oh, can you see me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
now we can see you.
Sorry.
So, with BTS and all, the Korean boys have become very famous in India. Are you aware of that? So, warm welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Vansu Kim has achieved PhD in English literature from the Graduate School of Hanguk University of Foreign Studies. He has published 7 poetry books, 1 poetry book, Duel Among a Mixed Age Fox, A Wild Dog and a Deer, was a bestseller in 2012. He was granted the World Peace Literature Prize for Poetry Research and Recitation, presented in New York City at the 5th World Conference of Poets in 2004. He published poetry books, Prescription of Civilization and Flowers of Thankfulness in America in 2019 and received Gum Chang Wang Poetry Literature Prize in Korea in 2019. An International Indian Award for Literature he has received from World English Writers Union in 2019. He published Heart of God in America in 2020. He has also published an autobiographical book, Secrets and Fruits of Mission, and a poetry book, Flowers of Gratitude, in 2021. He has received India's Independence Day Literary Honor in 2021. He has published the Chinese version of his book, Art of God, which reached Amazon bestseller #1 in 2022. So we have a poet amongst us who has been getting published and has been receiving awards. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. The title of my first poem is House of a Poem. I will build a house of a poem because it doesn't hand a piece of bread or a penny, but it can be a spring water of joy or comfort welling up that a piece of bread or a penny cannot give. I will build a house of a poem because it doesn't make weapons to be able to win a war, but it can transfuse the blood of wisdom or courage flowing to be able to prevent or win a war. I'll build a house of a poem because it doesn't have a tyrant's knife, but it can be a teacher to tame a tyrant's tongue. I'll build a house of a poem because it doesn't have a clever scheme to prevent time from carving wrinkles on my sweetheart's forehead, but it can be a book to keep forever her smiling face. I build a house of a poem because it isn't a miracle medicine to make the dead alive, but it can be a wonder medicine to make the dying alive. I build a house of a poem, even tearing all the flesh of my soul to pieces, because it doesn't prevent all the things of life from going into the tomb, but it can be a work of art to make alive forever brilliant moments of disappearing things. The title of my second one is Life. Grass, which lives eating dreams and disappears like dreams. Without eating dreams, it will be fallen leaves, blooming only flowers of tears, withering or getting sick. But with eating dreams without stopping, it will bloom a flower to touch the bitter hearts with its fragrance made long by tears and scars, even though shaken and soaked by the storms. The sky often whispers, heading it on the shoulder. No flowers bloom without being shaken or soaked. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
That was really wonderful to hear from you.
Thank you very much.
Manjushri ma'am, are you around?
Yeah. Thank you once again, Kim sir. It was nice listening to your poems. Life was really very, very, it showed us different aspects of life. We really enjoyed your poems, sir. Thank you. And now we move on to our next poet, Nisha Tandon. She is currently residing in Dubai. Nisha is an entrepreneur with an HR training consultancy firm, and having versatile experience in hotels, educational institutions, and corporate entities, she has had multidimensional exposure to the different arenas of work. Her exuberance and passion towards children led to a meaningful contribution to the teaching community. And I worked for she says she worked for a significant tenure as an accomplished teacher in an elite school in Delhi, working in hotels and coming across people with different perspectives towards life. She got a lot of experience in life, which she has used in her poems very appropriately. As an author, she has released compilation of poetry of a journey of life through footprints, Chand Ehsas, and has recently launched her third book of poetry, My Right of Dreams. So over to Nisha Tandon, ma'am.
So thank you so much, Manjushri, for this opportunity. And before that, I want to thank two people here who are present, Meena and Beena. I'll just give us few words about them. First of all, Beena is the one who introduced me to this world 2 years back. So Beena, thank you so much. In 2 years, it has been a journey which cannot be forgotten. And Meena, thank you for all the opportunities to participate in almost over 15 anthologies and always believing in me. And before we start, so these are my 3 books. I'm such a proud owner in a span of 2 years, publishing 3 books and fulfilling a dream. So thank you so much, everyone. Well, poetry, I have written, I think for my 3rd book, there are 75 poems. And today, which I have selected, generally I write on every theme, but unintentionally, they both happen to be women-centric. One is about a woman deeply in love with her husband, and second is about all of us women present on this platform. So I'll just read my first poetry, which says, Lifeless, how she just gives up her life for her husband, loving husband. She kneeled down silently, her head slightly bowed. A bunch of his favorite flowers she held close to her bosom. Tears slowly welled up in her vacuous eyes, reminiscing the lonely life she herself had chosen. It seemed any moment she would weep, yet a faint forced smile adorned her ashen face. She had strengthened her mind and her lonely soul, yet of peace in her life there was not a single trace. She placed her benumbed hand on his silent chest, careful not to disturb his resting soul, shedding silent tears as she thought of him. Over her emotions today, she had lost all control. She stared blankly at the revered space where her beloved today peacefully rests. She prefers to live with his memories forever, and that is what makes her truly blessed. They filled her all voids in her otherwise meaningless life. She lost all promises with his sudden death. He had vowed to walk beside her forever till he breathes his very last breath. She sighs and silently whispers an unfeigned prayer, besides him finally to be laid to rest. And just as she sobs and breathes her last, flowers are still clung to her lifeless chest. So that was my first poem. And the second, on a lighter note, and about us women celebrating Women's Day every day. I believe in celebrating us every day. She is childlike. She is childlike, innocent and so pure. A smile like a summer morn adorns her serene face. There's something about her that draws us towards her, and a mere look can melt away many an unfamiliar aches. She's like the morning glory that awakens at dawn, carrying a fragrance that is so intoxicating, wild and ever so fresh that mesmerizes all. Her careless whispers can fill the room with music that's invigorating. A glint in her eyes like million stars in the sky, lit by the rays of the radiant sun. She insinuates, and her voice is like the strum of the guitar, a diva and damsel who is so much full of fun. Her carefree laughter can brighten your day with jollity. Her tears can make your heart melt at every drop. She is enigmatic, sometimes like an open book. She easily manages to occupy every single of your thought. She's a dreamer and thrives on immortal hope. On another, she can easily place her trust. She is a dream so vivid and too good to be true. We all carry a little bit of her in each of us. So that is from me.
Thank you so much, Nisha ma'am. That was wonderful. Both the poems were really excellent. And now we move on to the next poet. She's Jyotirmani Thakur. And
I can't see her here. Right?
Yeah, I think she's not there. And friends, before we move on to the participants, the other participants, I would just like to say that we have read the bios and introductions of our guests and the guests of honor, who's two people who are here. But now we are not going to read the bios. People are sending me their introductions on WhatsApp, but there are, nearly 60 people who are going to read their poems. So I'm so sorry, I won't be able to read your bios, but all those would be published with your photographs in the anthology. So kindly send your bio notes and your pictures. Yes, we'll definitely be publishing them. But here we are not going to, we'll be introducing you in a line. So kindly bear with us. And now we move on. Yeah, even Meena Mishra ma'am is here. So I would like to request her. She's the CEO of Impish Publishing House. She needs no introduction. Yes, we all the participants who have joined here are authors, writers, poets, and many of you have really received so many awards. And maybe I would mention some of them, but mostly all of them have similar bio notes. So now we move on to Meena Mishra ma'am. I would request her to read two of her poems.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Manjushri ma'am. So I was attending the Lit Fest in Bangalore when I received the call from Manjushri ma'am telling that, we are planning an international poets meet and, can we collaborate? And I was like, why not? Whenever I see empowered women around, I don't know, somehow I'm biased, but I always feel like clutching onto them. It is only one empowered woman who can bring another one forward, who can pull her out of the place where she is. So I've always looked upon her as an empowered woman. And I don't want to read my poem first. I want Manjushri ma'am to read her poems first, and I'll be the second one. And I would like to tell you what she does for the poets of Impish, those who don't know her. When we talk about English and we talk about SSC board, she is A to Z. Okay, and in between all the alphabets, she has been A to Z of SSC board for English here in Maharashtra. And now she is playing a very major role in national education policy, NEP, policy making for the entire country. So big round of applause for her. You can understand where she stands. And she's such a humble lady. So humility is something that we have to learn. We have seen our guests. We have seen our chief guests, guests of honor. All of them are so humble, so down to earth, foreign poets. There is so much to learn from everyone around. Okay, and that is how I'm learning from her, from everyone here. And Manjushri ma'am.
Thank you for those lovely words. I don't think I deserve all those, but yes, I'll start with my poems. Yes, the first poem which I'm going to read is Treasured Moments. This beautiful life has so much to unfold. I treasure each moment, emotions turn bold. God weaves his own pattern of life. The mystery unravels with pleasure and strife. Each milestone has a story of its own, amazingly conceived plots with distinct seeds sown. Every relation, a sweet fragrance, a perennial joy, sweeps your heart, gives reason to enjoy. This beautiful canvas of life sketches tender hues. What a marvelous blend of happiness and ruse. Each shade is a valuable gift, carefully chosen, meaningful lift. Today, when I swim in this ocean of happiness, let me wash all the sorrows, tears, and stress. Kindle me with reason and light. O God, bestow that divine insight. Thank you. And now the second poem. Man fears man. Oh, what a pity when man fears man. The most divine creation's intellect goes van. The shuddering cruelty, the quaking crime. How can death on life become prime? Man is man's kith and kin. Killing one another is no one's win. Love is God, love is life. Perception will abate, strain and strife. Everything is timed, will turn into dust. Limit your aims, curb your lust. Why this terror? Who are these terrorists? Oh, nothing but life's fogs and mists. Reasons shine, emotions reign, beautiful rainbows, happiness gain. Nature is universe, timeless, priceless, sans boundaries, erect, fearless. Open your mind, the path will appear. No one is strange, no one to fear. Together we will shine, abolish all pain, ensure this life is not in vain. Thank you. And
Wonderful.
now over to Meena ma'am.
Thank you so much. So my first poem is Mother Earth during COVID. That is what the first poem I had written in 2020. She is swapping the mirror again and again until her misled youth she can gain. No amount of sobbing seems to work. It only adds to her escalating pain. She is flabbergasted as to how is it possible. No wonder she is completely inconsolable. Wailing and crying at the top of her voice, but no one can hear her despite the absence of deafening noise. She thinks it's a nightmare. Her wrinkled face and grey hair. Till yesterday, it wasn't there. Oh God, so unexpected. Is this fair? Her appeal, her exquisiteness, her splendor and grace. Millions of people craved for her embrace. But today, she has turned hideous and ragged, swabbing the mirror again and again. Fully determined is she to clean it until her misled youth she can gain. Corona, infection, quarantine, depression, and casualty in millions are her problems without any solution for the cosmopolitans? Arise, her darling offspring, respond to her clarion call, get united and take a resolution of swabbing the dirt of corona from her mirror by taking immediate action till it shows Mother Earth her old reflection. So this is my first poem. And the second one, this is very close to my heart, In Search of Peace. I kept on moving from one prison to another for years and years and had no strength to move further. I started doubting myself, losing all hope, as if there was no way out, absolutely no scope. Ruminating over my own condition, I almost forgot to participate in the conversation until brought back to senses by the strong touch of the jailer. We had almost reached the unreachable cellar. How traumatized was I at the sight of the carcass? Was that a horrendous painting on the canvas? The unexpected click of the key opening the oxidized lock brought a stir in the painting, and it began to flock. Moved the silhouette, flagging and limping, mumbling in a voice, flimsy and quaking, quivering. How shaken was I at her condition, observing her moth-eaten clothes, her diesel face, and blood-flecked eyes. I notified her how much for her the humanity cries. With her contorted rheumatic fingers, she held my hands. Just have a look at me, my son, and tell me today, where do I stand? So this is peace, standing in prison.
Lovely, lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meena. And now we move on to Shalini Yadav. Shalini Yadav is from Compucom Institute of Technology and Management, and she's from Rajasthan. Welcome, ma'am. I invite you to read your poems.
Ma'am. Thank you, Meena, ma'am. This is a wonderful event going on with wonderful poets. Today, I would like to recite two of my poems, Humanity and Peace and Mission. These poems are written after that all was happening in the world before a few months. So Humanity and Peace, this I would like to recite at first. Dust and races take us nowhere. We all wish to live united here. A sinless mother with dried tears, or a woman trying to save her respect she wears. After listening, a cry from the heart of a child, how can we be so barbaric and wild? All and sundry have the same blood, then why to fill the earth with corpse flood? Be the ambassador of peace and harmony, feeding the starving souls a spoon of affection's honey. It is not so difficult achieving the state of bliss. We just need to discard the demon's kiss. Embracing and enlivening sensibility can be the route to positivity and sensitivity. My next poem is Mission. Ordinary people who went out of home but never returned back, dismayed and disheartened, their closed ones to us. That was world of dust and rays waiting to take their lives they could not foresee. A normal human demolished every time in the dust of explosives. Where is Almighty? Where is humanity lost? Where do our souls reside? Humanity died, probity nullified, ethics mortified, sentiments mocked, sensitivity neutralized, immortality prevailed, brutality conquered, vicious celebrated, target achieved, mission accomplished. Is that so? Is it our victory? We need to unite and safeguard our nature, our mother nature, and humanity together, joining our hands. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance.
Thank you, Shalini. Is Shams Munova from Mississippi College, is she there? From Dhaka? Okay, then Shreya Jain informed that she's not going to read. She's okay. Then we move on to the next. Alifia Wali, are you there? Alifia? Okay, then we move on to Shreya O. Meena, ma'am, you can take from here. Take on from here. Then now I would request Shreya O to present her poems.
Yes, ma'am. I'm there.
You need to unmute your mic.
Now
Yes, it gives me a lot of pleasure to be in this August gathering, and I have got this golden opportunity today. I would like to thank the organizers, Dr. Sardesh Pandey madam and Meena Mishra madam, for giving me this opportunity. This is my first chance when I am going to recite poems, and basically I have written two poems which are based on real life incidents. The first poem is Lost Humanity. This poem is based on a real life incident which took place in June 2020 when a pregnant wild jumbo met with a gory end in Kerala. The elephant was suspected to have consumed a pineapple filled with powerful crackers which exploded in its mouth in the Silent Valley forest of Kerala. The news of this incident pained me deeply, and I took to pen the verses of Lost Humanity. I would like to present the poems. The first one is Lost Humanity. In Kerala,
Shreya, we can't hear you.
yes, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm sharing my screen, and I'm reading it loudly also. In
So you
Kerala,
can directly read it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
just need to read.
Yeah, in Kerala near the Silent Valley zone, a pregnant pachyderm strayed all alone. This straying into a village by chance proved to be a dangerous advance. Oblivious to the dangers in and around, an explosive-laden pineapple she found. Her mouth became an explosion spot. Incessant pain and agony it brought. In a shockingly wounded state, pulled on, hoping her pain would abate. Walked along for many a day until she reached a waterway. The pregnant jumbo in agony and pain, unable to bear the stress and strain, blood oozing, her mouth gauged, drowned into a river at last. The forests, once home to the wild, encroached by man, now defiled. Dangers lurk, animals fear to tread. Today, I wonder if humanity is dead. The second poem is also based on a real life incident. This is based on the mishap of Air India Express flight 1344, which was a part of the Vande Bharat mission to repatriate the Indian nationals stranded due to COVID-19 pandemic, and the flight was from Dubai to Kozhikode. The tragic mishap, umpteen times he had landed here. That fateful night, things were out of gear. Although the destination was near, visibility was poor, hazy, unclear. Heavy rains battered Calicut town as the aircraft was descending down. Taking the situation in his stride, with exemplary courage he tried to safe land on the tabletop, but the aircraft did not stop. It skidded, plunged down a slope steep, sending many to eternal sleep. The fuselage broke into two, snatching lives of the front side few. Lucky were those in the rear, saved from the impending death so near. So actually this poem is dedicated to Captain Deepak Sathe, who was an experienced pilot, and he had successfully landed at Kochi airport at least 27 times before this tragic mishap took place. However, that fateful evening, destiny had disastrous plans for him as well as others for whom this was their flight to do. Thank you very much.
Very touching poem. Very touching poem.
Thank you, ma'am.
We move on to our next poet, Vishwas Vaidya sir. He is from Pune and he happens to be my co-author for a novel, No, I Don't Love You.
Yes. But I love you all. And I'm happy to be a part of this August gathering, and both my mentors, Meena Mishra as well as Dr. Manjushri, are here, because Dr. Manjushri also had given me a chance in one of the educational event, where I had delivered a lecture to undergrad English students. So I have two poems. The first one is Marriage. Actually, this poem was inspired when I first read Khalil Gibran's marriage poem, who himself was not married. And I have read his biography also. And also then I encountered a discourse between Radha and Krishna, who some of the texts, as they say, they were not really married. So marriage. How can we ever marry? My love giggled. How can we ever marry? My love giggled, her voice dancing into an amused jingle. She is in disbelief. The question is popped before her, can we marry? She is in disbelief. And she says further, marriage is for two different hearts standing apart. So this is the difference. Marriage is for two different hearts standing apart, she pointed out. We are but two shadows of the same dream. We are not apart. Why should we marry? We are but two shadows of the same dream. How can we ever come apart? We are already in a much more blissful state. Why should you want us to put into problems? How can we ever come apart? Just to tie the knot. How can we ever come apart? Just to tie the knot when our dream is what? Tying us together. When our dream is what? Tying us together. So This is the commentary on the marriage. The last one is a pair of lips. This is also devoted to relationship. Devoted to relationship, where many times the world is jealous. World is jealous when you are paired. Your destiny pairs you with a teacher who is world famous. When destiny brings you with a world famous project partner, not just lover or maybe the spouse also. Everybody wonders, they are jealous, and how these two people can be together. That is the gossip around. A pair of lips. If only you were a little less beautiful. If only you were a little less beautiful and not so exotic. World wouldn't have really stopped by. It speaks volumes why world is stopping by and gossiping. World wouldn't have really stopped by and struggled to define our love. More than the two people, the gossiping crowd around wants to define and struggle to define our love. But who are we? We are but a pair of lips. Sipping together cup of our life. We are but a pair of lips sipping together cup of our lives, foaming with the fragrance of moments filled with musical intimacy. Now you see why people are jealous. Foaming with the fragrance of moments filled with musical intimacy. How can we ever define our love? Even we cannot define. How can we ever define our love when love is what really defines us? When love is what really defines us. Over. These are my 2 points. Thanks for giving me a chance.
Very good, sir. I'm just reading out name. If you are there, please unmute yourself and say that you are there. Mridul C. Brenal, are you there? Ravi Kumar G. Dr. Supanta Bhattacharya, I think.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yes. So it's your turn then, sir.
Let me say a few words about Supant.
Please.
People should know about him. He's a distinguished personality from the field of English in Nagpur, and he's I always part of Nagpur. Yeah, I think you were published by the Poetry Society of India, and he has written in English, Hindi, Bengali, I think translated also many plays, I think. So over to Supan.
Thank you, Manjushri. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Big thanks to Manjushri for having me here and in this wonderful assembly of poets. My first poem today is called School Reunion. Now, there are lots of empowered women here in this gathering today. But I grew up in a boys' school. And now, 20, 30, 40 years later, when we have our reunions, these are highly wild and boisterous affairs. And at times I wonder if all you empowered women, when you have your school reunion, do you actually face similar situations? So the title of the first poem is School Reunion. Who are these strangers, so obese, obscene, and drunk? Do I really know these flushed faces, these imbeciles, these skunks? Did we really share laughter and madness, joy and folly and sorrow? Did we really, as one, grow, dream together, and dare, almost a lifetime ago? Whatever happened to the unsullied innocence, humor so artless, the political incorrectness, that undying fraternal sense? Praise heavens, I have been spared this humiliating doom, behaving as if mentally impaired, resembling clowns without costume. Why do they install bloody mirrors in the bathroom? The second poem is called The Voice. My generation in the 70s and 80s grew up in the golden age of Bollywood music. There were singers galore, but the 70s and till he died in 1987, most of the 1980s were dominated by one male voice. And this is a tribute to that singer. The Voice. In those days of our golden glow, there were songs from the radio for every imaginable occasion, for every likely emotion. Some singers cooed like nightingales. Some effortlessly traversed classical scales. Others, in silken sounds, sobbed of broken hearts. We listened spellbound, not fully aware what art imparts. And then you came like a gale force, changing the very sound and the course of music as we knew it. Only you could grapple and subdue it. Untrained, noisy, scoffed detractors. But for us, these were scarcely factors. What mattered was, when you sang, we laughed for the pleasure, we wept for the pangs. In your voice, we still sing to damsels in trains. You still teach us how to yodel in the rains. As life continues to be an unknowable journey, you still show us how to navigate the sea. Even today, when faded is the gleam, it is you who still sings to us in our dreams. You are that which we breathe. You are what flows when we bleed. Thank you. Any
This
guesses
was
as to the idea?
wonderful. This was wonderful. Supanta
Thank you.
Bhattacharya. What
you.
I feel is like, we can create a quiz out of this poem of yours.
Guess who? Guess who's the singer?
Kishore Kumar, the great.
No,
Kishore
it was not only
Yes.
the quiz about him, it was the quiz about which song where.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I guess, I mean, fans
Each
would know.
line, like people
Fans
can
would know which
guess.
songs I'm referring to. Yeah.
Which song am I talking about? It was like
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Absolutely.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you. So kind of. Thank you. Thank you,
Wonderful
everybody.
as ever. Yeah, Supan, wonderful as ever.
Thank you. Thank you,
Do
Manjushri, for
come
having
to
me.
Mumbai once.
Would love to. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to read out a few more names. If you are there, just say yes, I'm there. Vaishali.
I don't think she's there.
Yeah, even I think. Shashikant Bisin.
No, he's not going to read. Nil, it's written.
Usha Pravina.
No.
Ranjana Sinha.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Dr. Ranjana Sharan
Yeah.
Sinha.
Yeah, she's there.
Yes, I'm there.
She's
I'm
there.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me
Yes, ma'am.
talk about her also. She's also one of the celebrated poets. And she has many anthologies to her credit. She's also an author, poet, editor, writer, and she has also received many, many, many awards. So welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello, friends. It's such a pleasure to be here among you on this wonderful platform. I'm really grateful to the organizers for giving me this wonderful opportunity. The first poem I'm going to present. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. The first poem I am going to read is about woman. Volumes have been written on women in all the languages. We have in Hindi, Nari tum keval shraddha ho, Vishwas rajatnak bhaktal mein, Piyush srot si baha karo, Jeevan ki sundar samtal mein. And again, we have an oft quoted line, Frailteen, thy name is woman. But my poem is about the inscrutability of women folk. The title is Ellipses. In the heart of almost all the women, some ellipses remain, some untold things. So the title of my poem is Ellipses. Spreading out into different spectrum of colors. Iridescent, kaleidoscopic, I am a woman, the creator, chiseling, carving, scratching. At times, a Sita, walking through the flames, agonies buried deep down, tagged as being weak or vulnerable. At times, a fiery, captivating Draupadi, disrobed and humiliated. A homemaker with a clammy face, making bread for my hungry children, my eyes fixed on the watch to catch a morning session. The distance between rolling pin in the kitchen and the driver's seat in the car is covered in one stride. On dark days, I become an avatar of Kali, the true badass, rocking the earth and the sky with long mane of hair, the blooded sword, and a necklace of the heads of my victims. I crush the god of destruction under my feet, slicing through my subtly changing and surprising selves. I find too much worth analysis. How do I weave 1,000 years into a single moment? Well, inscrutable are the ways of a woman's heart. A funambulist, walking on a tight rope, the rope a long, thin line ending with ellipses. Many unexpressed, monochromatic truths, the truths with different shades of the same color, linger in the cobwebs of heart, waiting to be filled in the blanks. Thank you. This was my first poem. And now I would like to read my second poem. The title is The Lost Saga of Paper Boats. Geranium pink clouds on the evening sky give way to gray glory. Flamingo feathers disappear and roaring rain clouds emerge. Soon it starts raining. I come out and feel the touch of the drops. They kiss my face, my arms, my back, and enter my very pore, caressing my spirit. The cloud and the rain evoke nostalgia. They bring back the memories of my childhood, full of carefree and uncomplicated days. Ah, how I enjoyed playing in the rain, tearing pages from my old notebooks, writing a wish on the paper, and putting the boat to float in a shallow stream. full of low currents created by the rain. I still remember my little heart in anticipation of the fulfillment of my childish wish. Today, my memory is dotted with paper boats carrying wishes. My hidden child appears. I give him a big warm hug and feel the magic. The caravan of boats brightens my sunset sky. Now my sky is sunset. Somewhere my soul opens its wings and flying high into the sky, rain glistening on its wings. Thank you so much, my friends. And thank you, Dr. Manjushri, Dr. Meena Mishra, for giving me the opportunity to recite my poems. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Wonderful articulation of your expression. Thank you.
So I'll just read out a few more names. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Mrs. Shanur K. Mirza, are you there?
Yes, she's there.
Okay. So we move on to.
She's the
Good
principal
afternoon.
of one of the leading schools in Nagpur. Yes, Jain Tata Parsi Girls High School and Junior College. Welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Dr. Manjushri and Dr. Meena, for having me here. And I'll just be reading this one poem of mine.
I'm just sorry. I'm sorry to disturb you, but I have not done my doctorate. I'm just Meena Mishra. Yeah. Only the Manjushri is Dr. Manjushri Sardesh Patel.
No, ma'am. Okay. Apologies, ma'am.
No, absolutely no problem.
Solitude is a poem which is very close to my heart. Listening to and feeling the silence. Listening to the woods, I wish I could. Listening to the birds chirping, of times I feel the joy. Listening to the beats of music, I know the rhythm I like. Listening to the inner voice, I hope to always do. Listening to silent, beseeching eyes of loved ones into eternity dispersed. Feeling alive to the needs of the dark, listening to the silence of the speechless, neglected. Feeling the emptiness, the pain in those hapless eyes, listening to the deafening pathos of the desultory errand. Feeling the ethos of a golden era relegated now to dark oblivion. Listening for the sounds in silent dreams, feeling the episodes of the day that was. Listening to the rhythm of the monotonous heartbeat, feeling the strained notes of pain in the beats. Listening to in silence the song of hope, feeling new hope rejuvenated in my beautiful aloneness, tuning my today to the song of the tomorrows, beating drums to silence the fears of a confused mind, humming a new tune with the chirping of the yonder birds, breathing in the whistling woods, the silence of the trees, humming a different melody to soothe the restless heart, listening in silence, cautiously breathing, feeling the silence. Listen to the rhythm of your heartbeat, feel the rippling emotions, feel blessed to be alive, revel in the boundless joy of listening to silence in solitude. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Your silence speaks so much. Yeah. And now Meena, over to Meena, ma'am.
So we can listen to actually her silence and solitude. Wonderful recitation. Dr. Rupa Sarkar, are you there? No? Malela Trivedi.
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
So Malela Trivedi, he's from
Yeah,
Government
yes,
Polytechnic. Yeah,
yes,
he's
yes.
from Government Polytechnic, Karidindi, Krishna. He's from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. Welcome, welcome, sir.
Thank you, all of you. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. At the outset, I would like to thank Manjushree, Dr. Manjushree Madam and Meena Mishra Madam and all of you. I just want to say good afternoon. I'm so happy to be with the August gathering here, all the poets. I don't know actually whether I belong to this allied group because I actually I'm fascinated by two words. That is, one is international. When I say international, I felt very happy because I'll be meeting people all over the world. And the next word is poets. See, poets are the people, the best people, with the strong feelings and emotions, who feel so much for the society and for all these things and all. Very, very sensitive people. So I thought I should share my thoughts with these people. I'm just sharing my thoughts. It's just thinking aloud. And I just wrote a few lines. I don't call it poetry, but I thought I should share with you people because you are the best people in the world who will understand. Whenever I read the news and all, I'm very much affected by the international affairs, what's going on around the world. So in this 21st century, in spite of all this science and technology, when we see a lot of suffering going on around us, the humanity, people getting killed and all, can we be mute spectators? Can we be simply watching these things going on around us? That's what made me feel a lot. So I just wrote these lines. Sure, you will listen to my words. Live and let others live. This is the title I put for these lines. Crowd is not a company. I say crowd is not a company because though this science and technology brought us into a global village, still I feel alone. I feel lonely, threatened, stifled. I want to speak up against the inhuman brutality, mayhem taking place in Ukraine. We are mute spectators to the deaths, destruction in front of our eyes. It's not the question to finalize the right and wrong of the issue when fellow human beings are dying every hour. Mankind, so advanced in science and technology, in the 21st century is killing the same species even now. People used to kill one another in the name of religion, which was the case in the unscientific age. Is it not appalling even today? Science has not widened their horizons to let them know that we are just another species on this lonely planet. How I wish God opens their minds and eyes. Caste, color, race still rules this humanity at large. Nations are bounded by the differences of humanity than the commonness of mankind. Now, the distances in space and time, blurred with the speed of sound and light, space travels are the order of the day. The world has not changed much. The distances, the barriers of caste, color, race in the minds still remained intact. Dr. Martin Luther King's dream remained a distant dream. The spirit of the missile man of India has left us a lesson to rise above these man-made barriers. May the world become one in letter and spirit, and live and let others live. Thank you. These are my lines. I should say. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you all for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful lines. And I'll just read out another name now. Paridhi Jayant Vyas, are you there?
No, I think.
No. Rubail Salman Khan, I think I have seen this name.
Yes.
Rubail Salman Khan? Yes.
He's from Agartala, Tripura. Wow.
Tripura.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Very good afternoon to everyone for present here. Today I have to recite two poems here. Actually, I am not very much active in speaking English. We are not from the mainstream. So I will try to speak my words in clear so that everyone could understand my languages, my words. So I'm reciting my first poem. This is Forms. Forms means a situation when we are not ready to decide what should we do or what not. Okay, now I'm reading my point. I am at the facts to the left, to the right, or to the front, and the bed I have crossed. I'm still in confusion, starting suspicion. The heart is full of one, what to decide. Will this be the way of truth, or will the total misdecide? Everything seems to be in my meeting in the mind, one after another. I can describe in words what I confusion is. It's me, to God, to guidance. That's what I'm looking for. To surely no answer. The right way must be there. Out of this book. Thank you. This is my first poem, and now I'm getting the second one. The same poem I have here is in my sujood. In my Abdu sujood, at the third quarter of the night, when I pray the Hajj, I hope to tell you, here up only to you, a compliment about my life. Oh Lord, it's you I pray, strengthening this heart and mind in front of life test. What you have bestowed on its servant. Oh, the one you love, to control all things and beings, protect us for all things, whatever and the above. Hence, my one. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for giving the opportunity.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Jyotirmaya Thakur, ma'am, can you hear me?
Is she there?
She said she's joined. Can you hear me? I can't see her here.
She has joined, I think. We'll take one poet till then.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. We are taking Samahita Mukherjee. And Samahita Mukherjee is traveling right now. She is one of my very dear editors. And she is in the social media team and a very passionate poet, a passionate woman. And I hope she gets a proper network to read her poem. Samahita, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everybody. And well, Nagpur has a very special place in my heart. I am from Nagpur. I'm a Nagpurian. And it's a wonderful platform. Like ma'am said, since I'm on the road, not very sure about my network. So I apologize to all of you. I'll make it fast. The name of my poem is Last Battle. The colliers had no shanty like their brothers at sea. They only knew sweat and soil and black lung disease. Those nimble feet entered a dungeon at 22, and like the wrinkly, their fate got sealed, hope scanty. Forgive me, son, for pushing you down the cave, for teaching you our sordid shelled shibboleth. I had hoped for the sun to kiss your face and follow you around, catching your pace. I wished for the birds to carry my orison beyond the vast, merciful azure horizon. With these words, the old soul quit, the wounded solitude unable to outwit. His lad tried hard, but could not mourn, couldn't drop the chisel, looking forlorn. A whittler crawled past his axe, crossing all ridges while carving tracks. This shook his deep cataleptic spell, urging him to abandon the dreary damp cell. Away he ran through thorny bushes, his skin as coarse as hide, whitening the gap with every step, yearning hopefully for a ride. A wagon, a cavalcade, any locomotive of form, anything to transport him away from this hoarded doom, devouring man and earth every night, noon, or morn. His will to wake free made all the difference, for when it aligned with the divine luminescence, hope manifested in every core and nucleus, edifying them into becoming unique and gracious. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wonderful recitation. And that is the passion, you know. You are traveling, you have network problems, but when you are passionate about your poems, you do recite it. Jyotirmaya Thakur, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, she wants me to unmute her, but I have already unmuted her. She needs to unmute from her own side.
Ma'am, will you please try once to unmute yourself?
I'm not able to do it from here because I have not muted her.
So it's not happening over some technical problem. So we take another poet by then. There is one poet who is running short of data. Can we take her? Manjushri ma'am.
We can take that person. Let me know who is it so that I can pin that person.
Yeah. There's one poet who has been asking since so long that data is almost exhausted. Who is that poet? Please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, I'm sorry for bothering you. It's almost I was over for data. It's going to be end now.
Okay,
I never
read.
feel that.
What is your name?
Rupa, ma'am.
Huh?
Rupa, ma'am.
Rupa. K Rupa?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Start reading.
Okay, ma'am.
You can just, yeah.
Could you see me, ma'am?
Yes, I can see. We all can see.
Ma'am. Good afternoon. Today I recite my poem about the title Dream. Don't be afraid. Could you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we all can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. Don't be afraid of space between your dreams and reality. If you can dream it, you can make it. So all of our dreams can come true. If I can see my dream clearly from within my mind's eye, my sparkling eyes shining like a bright sky. I dream of what could have been when I fell dream with you. I'm close of my sometimes and sometimes staring my face with mirror. I'm in pain today. I'm feeling like a blue. And I thought, when did my dreams would fulfill? I'm waiting for the day, one day my dream will come true. This is one of the poem about dream, and another poem is nature. Mother Nature smiled at every time, but she didn't bid at every time. She knew that to live and grow is forever nature's way. Mother Nature, so calm and cool, full of life, make us forget all our strife. It was so lush and green. We have either summer nor winter, neither autumn nor spring. So nature deals with us and takes away our playing thing one by one. Nature leads us to rest so gently. We have got such wonderful things. Do what you can to save the nature. The result of saving nature is to see wonderful of wonder to see. Thank you, ma'am.
Lovely poems. Good, you could recite it on time.
Yes, ma'am.
Manjushri ma'am, can we have
yeah, next one. Yeah, just see whether
Jyotirmaya Thakur ma'am.
Are you there?
Yeah, she is there.
She's there, but she's not able to unmute herself because I have not muted.
Ma'am, then you just leave the meet and try to join again.
Yeah, because all the people are able to like unmute, and I have not unmuted.
Ma'am, can you hear us? If yes, try to respond in the chat box.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So now you can unmute yourself. You have unmuted yourself. You can just turn on your camera and can we see you?
You have to do that. It says you cannot start your...
Ma'am, actually, I have not unmuted you from my side. I have not...
hey, I just got it. I just got
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yep.
I have not muted anyone.
Yeah, now we can see ma'am and here also. Yeah. So
Yeah,
here
can
we
you
have
see me?
early morning poet from UK, Jyotirmaya Thakur ma'am. I'll just read out her intro.
Yes.
I want everyone to mute themselves while I'm speaking. Jyotirmaya Thakur, retired principal, is a bilingual author of 45 books and co-author of more than 300 anthologies, multi-genre award-winning poet of many awards from literary and humanitarian organizations, a columnist, researcher, reviewer, translator, spiritual, social, and environmental activist. She serves on various prestigious committees as international ambassador and honorary advisor in many literary and humanitarian organizations. Her work has been published in many anthologies, magazines internationally, and translated in many languages. She is compared to Wordsworth for her nature poems and with John Keats for sensuousness. Her love poems are divine like the Sufi. Her poetry opens for the reader a new spiritual perspective about the world. Chinese and Japanese critics pretend that her philosophical poetry is Tao and Zen. She has received many international awards and is yearly invited at the most prestigious international poetry festivals. So it's an honor to have you here, ma'am. Over to you now for your 2 poems.
Yeah, it's a privilege to be with so many of you. And I'll wish you all a very happy Father's Day. In UK, it's a great event and many things we get here, many facilities due to that. So let's start with that. Precious times. How blessed I am of the times spent together, Father and I, whom he passed on immense treasure. He gave me wings to independently fly, through strength to soar high and touch the sky. People ask me how I keep my composure. I repeat my father's words and get wiser. I just want to say, it's very simple anyway. When I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, a game to play, a game to play. As my father would say, it's a leap of faith. When you have nowhere to go except forward, when you reach dead end, in almighty trust, surrender to the universe, let it take its course. It will never turn out as you expected, but that's the beauty of mysterious life. It's an extreme power extended. No wonder you fall or reach great heights. Always live well, without regret. Don't give up, not now, not ever. Good times come, we appreciate what they get. Future is not set, so create your own splendor. Thank you so much for listening and a very happy Father's Day to you all. Thank you once again. And all of you have a nice good afternoon. It's morning here though. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was an honor, an absolute pleasure listening to you. Thanks for joining in spite of all the problems that you faced technically.
It's okay. It's okay. That's life.
So we move on to our next participants. I'll just read out the names now. Dr. Maitri Shinde.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Please, go ahead.
Can I read? Can I begin reading?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And congratulations to the organizers. So this is my first poem, My Wedding Sari. She lies there for years now without complaining. No qualms about going breathless, stacked amongst the others. Still, bagging the place of the best. The shimmer and the tassels call me to revisit her each time before I lock my closet. I'm sure she would have danced and made merry with her counterpart. The hands of the weaver, in tune with the frame, conjuring with the best combinations, the mirth on his face and the incomprehensible innocence, to clad his skin in the creation. I clad it again 5 years after the nuptial knot. The red border and the brocade still brought some rouge. I ramble around with the air of completeness. Compliments of beauty and duty flow. The red border says it all. 2 scores after, she calls on me. Now the brocade, now the brocade, but an opaque piece, seems to have grade. Venerability is what matters. After a second thought, I run it over my shoulder. The mirror did not lie this time. The recital of my sari came silently. Now I'm reading my second poem on our friendship. Sometimes thoughts about you make me silent. Obscure and tepid lay siege in me. Life's overturns have taught me lessons of relationships the hard way. Hope and desire went silent forever. Cupid, so vivid is your blindness, and flippant are your ways. Would you want a player whose wings take me higher? The stupor of love, just so transient and restrained. The unknown I see in you, surpassing Eros to meet Plato. Now a bond so strong I claim, the fear of losing, never it came. It's just for us forever to redeem, a journey that's set and not a dream. Lo, I flung you, Cupid, your bow bits the wrong aim. Jove, your eagle comes flying by, drifts me forever to show the light. I treasure you, my friend. Goodness you are, and goodness has loved you. The soul finds its mate, this love so divine, forever it remains. Yeah, I'm done with my poems.
Wonderful recitation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Beautiful
And
poems.
she was from Hyderabad, St. Mary's College.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Shweta Chahal, are you there? No. From Punjab? Professor Reena Ben Jaya Singh Bhai Tandel.
Yeah, before that, Sanam Wasim, some Sanam Sheikh.
Yes, ma'am, I am there.
Who
is
Sanam
there?
Sheikh? Sanam Sheikh is there?
No, ma'am, I am Reena Tandel.
No, before you, there is some.
No, no, no,
Sanam
she's
Sheikh.
not attending.
Okay.
Yes, Professor Reena Ben.
Okay, ma'am.
She's from
So,
Vidyanagar.
okay,
Kosamba,
I'm Professor Reena
Valsad.
Tandel from Valsad. It is in North Gujarat, and I am like doing my group pravesha in this poetry. I am like a poet who don't want to share my poems with anyone. So this is my first attempt to sharing it with you on virtual platform over here. So I have sent 2 poems, Insight and Beloved. So I would like to start with the first, which I have written in the favor of how this girl child is getting their education and how they are like making their ahead and ahead day by day. So Insight, they told me to be quiet,
To speak is not right. She isn't meant to fight. She isn't meant to fight, or future wouldn't so bright. Conditions are so high, don't take it so light. Object of delight, not good for lie. Though we are not bright, but want some tender light. Though we are not bright, but want some tender light. Future of her is beside, but not completely aside. But not completely aside. She don't want above. She don't want below. So this is the first one I have wrote. Now the second one is beloved, and it is I have written on the obsessions of women towards their ornaments. So she bought the lover from the craft bazaar near the Tibetan and silk bazaar. Later, having first Pani Puri date at Big Bazaar, holding it hard, too tight, restless of togetherness, made her obsessed to hold. The lure of being with never let her peace at all. Hiding it for a day, unbearable the furtive move, day after all known, on WhatsApp status, family or friends, exposed to precision, how to separate both, the lover of her, a jewel. So this is how I just try to make my poems vocal with some feminist perspective. So thank you.
Wonderful recitation.
Thank
And
you, ma'am.
as a first timer, didn't look like you are a first timer.
Actually, ma'am, I write it, but I never share it with anyone. So this is the first time I'm sharing. Uh, like it is always closed in my diary.
Oh, good work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Manjushri ma'am, there is another poet who is facing major data consumption issues. Can we take her?
Yeah,
Upma?
yeah. Who's that person?
Upma.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm really sorry for this because I cannot have a control onto it. So that's why. I would like to say just one thing. I'm a novice writer that I consider myself. And I feel I'm a very small little bud among a bouquet of all the writers over here. And feel pleasure to hear wonderful poems and so humble writers and poets out there. I quickly read on my two poems. The first poem of mine is Don't Blame the Poison. And this particular poem is actually associated with the postmodern life that we are living in, where if we can talk about the young generation or maybe the older who are facing an emotional breakdown and they actually surpass the particular phase of life. So I hope you all like it. Don't blame the poison, as it alone does not have the capability and destroyed by your words. Potential enough control my life. I found it hard to plead for that sagacious mind that you bore indeed. Once more, I walked on a little heap of ashes, holding crescent of love. I moved on, but it was dark, naked enough to blind my eyes. I wondered if strangulated by the drudgeries of life, but alas, it was you. It was you who consumed me all. This was my first poem. And my second poem has a different notion. It is a happy-go-lucky thing when in the modern life, we hardly have time. We all wanted to be among the nature. We talk about the nature, but practically we hardly get time to actually appreciate it. So my second poem goes is a season of fall. And far at a distance in the season of fall, something was shining on the sun-baked wall. And then, urged by cynical mind to go some near and watch the beauty, women at the river with glossy eyes, men in the fields cutting grains to equal size, water in a corner making beautiful mugs, shouting his only boy, take it, just 20 bucks. On the road, group of 5 with firewood, cracking jokes and enjoying Tale of Robin Hood. With knelling of the bell in the nearby temple, all elderly men and some women got assembled. They all listen the sermon of profound pundits. They hear it all as final verdicts. I read those faces, what calmness they bore, enjoying the music of silent shores. Such a captivating charm is yours, O alien land. You made me still, you made me stand. Wish I could, but is calling me my fugitive band. And I promise you, come back with all my heart when the season spring will duly start. Thank you.
Wonderful recitation.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm glad before your data got exhausted, you could read your poems.
Actually, I would love, ma'am, to have a complete sitting out here and listen to the rest of the participants. I wish I could. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome. So we move on to the youngest participant for today. I believe she is the youngest. Kankai Valendra from Mount Mary High School. Kankai?
Yeah. Namaste to all from Kankai. My poetic name Rukakshi, presenting here a couple of poems which depict my feeling. Forgiveness for forgiveness. Shall I forgive you cause you have been doing a crime? Or shall I forgive you cause you have supported a crime? Or shall I forgive you because you have witnessed a crime? Or shall I forgive you because you have reported a crime? Or shall I forgive you because you want me to forgive you? And my second poem is, it is a total contrast, which is smile and emoji. Smile and emoji. See the light in the window of your soul, the most valuable jewel I hold. In every occasion I do wear, love, laughter, and happiness is everywhere. Emojis, emojis, I spread here and there. Thank you and a happy Father's Day to all.
Very good. So you can forgive the people just for sake of forgiving. Okay, Kankai? Because when we forgive people, we are at peace with ourselves. Manjushri ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes. I'm finding out participants. Yeah. Now, you can read the other. I think Shireen Kulkarni is not there. I cannot see her name.
Okay. Shireen is not there.
Priyanka
Priyanka Sharma?
Even she is not there.
Seema Sanjay Gautam. Seema is there.
Yeah, I've pinned her.
Yeah.
Hello, Seema.
A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Meena ma'am. Look at this. This was my first poem, which got published in Impish publication. Thanks to one of the students who actually introduced me with my poems. I would like to express my gratitude to Ms. Meena Mishra ma'am, Impish Publications, without whom I would be not here today. I would like to express my gratitude to Manjushri ma'am for organizing such a beautiful gathering for the poets. This is first time when I'm reciting my poem like this after my college days. So I'm going to recite my two of the poems here. One is, I want to revive my inner child. Another one is Still It's Okay, book which I have shown got published in Impish publication. Another one is in pipeline. So I'll start without wasting much time over here. Title of my poem is I want to revive my inner child. Live the moment, be alive, enjoy the life, not to strive. Everything in life is uncertain and unexpected, yet the child in me is urging me to get out and play. My baby conversations make me happy at times, and I don't want to grow up. My son's little hand and warmth are calling me. His eyes are mischievous, provoking me. His innocence and smile prevent me from growing. And to be honest, I don't want to mature. I want to keep the child in me alive. It's too late to say, be a little mature or grown up, sweetheart. The world expects me to be mature, but my heart says otherwise. Slow down, get outside, laugh a lot, and keep your innocence. You don't have to extinguish the child within you. Keep your inner child alive. Don't be concerned about people or stuff. Don't be hesitate to express yourself or your feelings and sentiments. As if I were a child, as if I were a child. This was my first poem. I'm going to recite the another one. Very close to my heart, my first published poem in Impish publication. Gave me a lot of positivity and wings again after my college days to write again. Still, it's okay. This is the title. It's okay to be less than perfect at times. It's not essential. Therefore, I'll skip it and be perfectly fine. I'm not afraid of crying. I'm fine with it from time to time. I'm not trying to come across as a braggart. It's okay. I'm not on your salvo list. I'm not always in good shape. This isn't it just my story, though. Many of us are in the same boat. But we often disagree because we believe that other people's problems are less severe than ours. From time to time, as a result, as time passes, enjoying life and the passing of time becomes more important. Even if I'm not perfectly fine all of the time, since it's perfectly fine not to be perfect all the time. It's okay to be less than perfect at times. It's okay to be less than perfect at times. Thank you so much, everyone, for patience listening.
Thank you, ma'am. I think Nisha Tandon ma'am has she's already recited. Then K. Rupa, Kuldeep Singh. Kuldeep Singh, are you there? Lalita ma'am, I think.
Yes.
Next is Lalita ma'am from Delhi.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Very
Welcome,
good afternoon
ma'am.
to all of you. Yeah, very good afternoon to all of you. And thank you so much, Meena ma'am. And of course, Manjushri ma'am, for the wonderful opportunity that you have been giving to all the authors and poets. At present, I'm in Kerala, not in Delhi, though I belong to Delhi. My two poems are, first is the title of the poem is The Paradox of Desire. This is the desire not to desire. The paradox of desire. The evil elf of desirous and fascinating temptations, leading to a path of woes, sorrow, and destruction, arising from the heart, which to satiate never ceases. The web spins around as yearning for pleasure increases. The never-ending want for success and wealth, the plethora of wrongdoing to acquire by secrecy and stealth. It doesn't end here, but cascades into a demon, soon snowballing into a brute, beastly villain. Paths of peace and tranquil, if needs to be got, Limiting cravings and temptations in life needs to be taught. Flames of passion and desire have to be soon doused. It's a volcano with a whirl of repeated cravings housed that would burn one's own soul if not restrained. The afflictions would be deep, entrenched in pain. The desire to end the desire should reign so that in peace and harmony is the universe sustained. Thank you. My second poem is Life, You Are My Destiny. It is about the many things that we want, and we want to carve a destiny for ourselves and sometimes end up not getting it. So I think one should be happy getting what lives gives us. Tumultuous and arduous roads of life, I traveled to carve my destiny. There were ripples of gloom, blossoms and bloom, as I traversed those terrains with glee. With wings of passion, I rode on winds, flying high on clouds of wonderment. I ran the race, keeping up the pace, climbing up the ladder from the ground to the crescent. Oh, life's leaves on a twisted twig, you have given me my share of my nemesis I deserve. There are joyful smiles or turbulent riles. I humbly accept your ruling with vigor and verve. Destiny, you are my beloved fate. I surrender to you as you for me await. Bouquets and brickbats, slurs or affectionate pats, I embrace you with all fondness of a mate. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Both the poems were really wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to the next. Vasudha Kapoor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So welcome, Vasudha Kapoor from Loreto, Kolkata.
I'm from Loreto, Kolkata, but I reside in Gurgaon. Thank you very much to the organizers for hosting this wonderful morning. I'm going to start with my first poem, which is on Draupadi and the few moments of conflict and dilemma that she goes through when she comes to know that mother-in-law Kunti has asked that.
Your voice, ma'am, you need to speak a little louder.
Okay. So, like I said, it's on Draupadi and the few moments of dilemma that she goes through when she comes to know that her mother-in-law Kunti has asked that she be shared unknowingly. So here it is. The poem is called Draupadi's Dilemma. Her marital life starts with turmoil. What? 5 husbands? And to be a shared wife? Mind questions, thoughts wander around the peeping house. Was she an object that could be shared, or a delicious food to be distributed and savored? What about her own wishes and feelings? What if this is not what she wants? Should she go for it or reject such matrimony? Wasn't it Arjun who had wooed her heart, and Krishna too had approved of the match? A refusal would mean a refusal of Arjun too. No, no, she didn't want to lose him, that's the truth. Oh, why this turn of events? Why is she going through these difficult moments? Shouldn't the brothers explain to their mother what was at stake? What had she unknowingly asked to be shared? Wasn't this clarification the most obvious next step? But that didn't seem forthcoming. Maybe questioning a mother's word was not in order. The virtue of obeisance was all pervading. She looked up and took an eyeful of them. 5 handsome princes, so virtuous and chivalrous, their perplexed looks betraying the honesty within, and some agony so evident on Arjun's expression. Though stunned into silence, the unspoken words were heard. The dilemma that she faced was not only hers, and that's when she could feel something shift within. The few moments, the few moments of turbulence started settling in. Her heart started to melt, and some haze disappeared. The sun shone bright and the clouds cleared. Destiny sometimes has bigger plans, and she was just a pawn who had to play her part. So that's how it ends and how she reconciles to this situation. And my second poem is on a lady who's suffering from cancer, and she's aware of her condition, but she's still like clinging on to life and putting on a very optimistic exterior. So the poem is called Living Up Each Day. Each morning I wake up to the singing of birds, blinded by the bright sun and tickled by the cool breeze. Yes, I am alive and kicking in Mother Earth's arms. I have yet another day to live, another day with my dear ones, as life has come to greet me again. It's a special day today and celebrations have planned. I will cook his favorite meal and watch him relish and dance. The glasses will clink in the merriment, the foot tapping music that sways all feet galore. Yes, I must dance again like always. I must be on the floor, as life has come to cheer me again. Each new day writes new lists and rekindles my desire to live. So little time, with so much to do and so much love to give. Some pending jobs, some mending hearts, and some secrets to be told. Some planning and advice that will be useful for my near ones. Some time with friends who make me feel as if all was well, because life then seems so normal once again. How precious is life and how valuable are relationships, I now realize. Every grudge and difference seems so trivial and not worthwhile. Not a moment is to be wasted, as I have patching up to do. I have to live. I need to live some more. Am I glad life has come to greet me once more? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I hope I was heard.
Yes, you were. Wonderful recitation.
Yes. And now we move on to our next poet, Batul Tiamwala. Yes. And,
yes, I'm here.
Yeah. You are from
I'm here.
Vishakhapatnam. Yeah.
Yes, I'm from Vishakhapatnam.
Yes, you have given 6 poems, but yes.
No, I'll be reciting only 2 short ones.
Okay.
Anyway, I've been introduced. I'm Batul Idris Siamwala from Vishakhapatnam. I write in my maiden name, Mumtaz Khurakiwala.
Okay.
And I'm deeply grateful for this wonderful opportunity to both of you, ma'ams. Thank you very, very much. So my first poem is titled Lover's Lament. It presents the dilemma of a bhaktin, because she is in search for her ultimate quest, and she wishes to forego the world so that she can unite with Lord Shiva, whom she calls Chenna Mallika Arjuna. And like Lal Ded, she discards the idea of gender. So for women who do not believe in gender, it is a difficult world, because for them they do not believe in the taboos that exist in this world. So can I start, ma'am? Can I?
Sure. Yeah.
Lover's Lament, says Mahadevi Akka, where there is none to question the union of the sky with the horizon, why does this world hurl accusations at me? When in search of you I roam sky-clad, and my hair cloaks me. O Lord, from this worldly gaze, when can I escape? Instead of my garb like flowing hair, cloak me in your embrace. In this union I shall lose all that is mine. Like mists in morning, I mingle in your sunshine. Like the bee, I await the opening of petals. Lead me to your nectar, lest I starve. O Chenna Mallika Arjuna, let my physicality dissolve. Guide my footsteps towards your mountain shrine. This is my first piece, ma'am. Now I'll start with my second piece. It is about what we see, a very common experience in India. We see our streets lined with queues because people are rushing to fill water in summers and throughout the year for that matter. So the second poem is titled The Running Tap. Have you seen the magic of cast iron taps sturdily rooted in the bowels of tar and cemented Indian roads? They beckon one and all. Many I've seen in the midst of chawls, serpentine queues flowing like life, not knowing death, unstoppable, as if to tell life flows like water. Water gushes out in force into gaudy colored bindis, buckets, and sparkling tin cuboids in crowded Indian bazaars. A cantankerous curly strung line beaded together to flow through the narrowest confines, await its mysterious trickle. People lined up to fill that drop that slakes the thirst of life. Magical elixir, delight to many eyes that cools the parched throat. Watch. The overflowing tap vacantly gushes out and fills houses, streets, and cities. Like vagabonds, coolies, and drunkards lurking in grey alleys, and the ancient alleys that house our spirits for years until we go, life sputters out slowly, disappearing like the last drop of water that wishes to flow, yet stops during hot Indian mornings. This is my second piece, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Wonderful. Now the next is Tapas Sarkar. Are you there? Tapas Sarkar. I don't think.
No, he is not there, ma'am.
Then the next one, Dr. Farquan Ahmad Khan. Are you there? No. Arun Bhaskaran.
Yes, I'm here now.
Okay.
Good afternoon to everyone. The title of my poem is Airy Boy's Love on a Coconut Tree. He woos on her head and pleasures his heart by falling on her fronts. Like a lad falls on his love's face, she hugs and he covers her fast, with feathered wings soft. Breezily he pulls away her saree drapery. She lets it slip, but regains it gaily. Windy boy wants her elope from the deep-rooted ancestry. He tries to lift, she is stiff, fiercely blows some knots. Knots are not measurable as his insane love. She too likes to flee, and uprooted but dead. Boy has a trumpet, a melancholic note. He becomes a nomad and wanders the world. Nothing. He soars high, disappears somewhere where he could find her. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to Vishwanathan Iyer from Vedanta College, Kalyan East.
There's slight disturbance which we can't hear very clearly.
Yeah, I'm very much here. Good afternoon to all of you.
See this kind of a noise.
Is there any disturbance now?
Now it's not there, but when you start speaking, it's there.
Okay.
Good afternoon to all of you, and I would like to thank Meena Mishra ma'am and Dr. Manjushri ma'am for giving all of us this beautiful opportunity on a wonderful Sunday. So the two poems that I am going to share with all of you, the first one was written during the COVID days. This is not normal. So the lines go something like this: no one around is happy, within the family or outside, at personal or professional level. This cannot be normal. Many relatives lost, creating unknown vacuum. Many relations strained. This cannot be normal. The financials gone for a toss, no commitments honored, postponing and assurance all over. This cannot be normal. Every life disturbed, death largely looming over, stress and negative vibes everywhere, this cannot be normal. Blaming others being in trend, no one accepting responsibility, man killing man haphazardly, this cannot be normal. The Almighty or superpower cannot be so cruel and harsh to showcase his power so negatively. This cannot be normal. O human, amend your ways. Stop the greedy accumulation. Be content with the basics of life, for this is only normal. So that was one which I had written during the COVID days. And my second poem is more of a fiction where I talk about treasuring of the olden days. Those days were days of real happiness, when the requirements of life were really less. A life which existed without any stress. For today's generation, it's very difficult guess. Those days had very less demands. Everything adjusted, eating food with sands. Never worried of currently where he stands, no planning of future where he lands. Those days, the need of electricity was least. People hardly retaliated for the power cut beast. One could wake up fully sweat greased. Today, instantly, million complaints will be released. The secret of happiness was mutual trust. Meeting a person to solve a problem was the best. This definitely avoided relationships to rust. Cleaning the heart by speaking out was always a must. Those days, they would meet after traveling a few miles. Meet at foreign destination would bring large smiles. The joy was evident for meeting the fellow after a while. Both would enjoy the moment as the mind was fertile. The food they ate, the clothes they wore, always kept them contented without asking for more. Everyone was so contented as he was targeting his own core. Never did he look beyond himself and tried to explore. Avoiding the 2 times meal, he skipped the dinner, preferred being fit, muscular and thinner. By hook or crook, everyone wants to be a winner. During this act, he never understood he becomes a sinner. Listening to advices of saints and what pious people says, the secret of living a happy, blissful and contented ways, people are now remembering those treasured days. Our life, as mentioned in these advices, were same always. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Vishwanathan Iyer, sir. And now we move on to the next participant, Mr. Shivnath Sharma. Are you there? Mr. Shivnath Sharma? I think he's not there.
No, he's not there.
Yeah, so now the next participant is Beena Pillai ma'am. She's
there.
Yeah, she's from Lady Shri Ram College, New Delhi. Over to you, ma'am.
Beena, you are on mute. Yeah.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm honored and humbled to be your invitee, Beena Mishra. And I'm really happy that, I've got 2 poems to recite. I've written 4 books. And recently, just 10 days back, I published a book with Meena Mishra, Impish Publishing House. This is Nuggets of Life. It's a collection of short stories and anecdotes. So I'm going back.
And I would like to tell you that she suffered from corona. I think she's still trying to recover.
Yeah.
But then she is passionate about poems so much that she is here to recite one.
Yeah. My poem is Rest a While, but Don't Quit. I'm a very positive person. I love nature, life, people. And so I always try to encourage all the people who are caught in the whirlpool of life. I like to give them some inspiration. So this poem is Rest a while, but don't quit. When things go wrong, Don't cringe or quit. When dreams seem far away, your goal is not met. Take a deep breath and move on, my dear friend. The uphill seems steep. Keep climbing till sunset. Remember, there'll be another new day, and the sun can't give up. It has to rise every day. The future may seem bleak, but lift your spirits high, believe in yourself, and walk upright with a smile. You may think everything is over. You may sigh. It may break you down, but will build you up. The confidence and strength will take over you. Soon you will feel the energy and wonder why. I bet you will soon run more than a mile to catch your dream among the clouds and pin it down, keeping your feet on the ground. You may make mistakes, might rest for a while. Take more chances and find a great life. Positivity and persistence will take you high. Life is magical. Life is magical, and I agree there is pain. But can we get to see a rainbow without any rain? So this is my first poem. The next one is, my father called her we, since it's Father's Day today, and I had a wonderful father who taught us a lot of values and gave more importance to values than wealth and status. So this is for him. My father called my mother Nammal. I found that unique and strange. I asked my father, what does that mean? Isn't Indra her name? My father was calm. He smiled. Nammal is a Malayalam word. It means we, he said. W-E. Didn't you know that, my child? I pondered for a moment. I was taken aback, but loved his logic. From him I learned, I is not the word. We is beautiful. It creates magic. While talking or writing to anyone, even to my sister, I would write we. Once someone asked me angrily, who's this we you talk about all the time? It takes away your ego. You give dignity to the person you address as we. I didn't think about it till my father lived it and showed me. Our self-centered instinct disappears. You don't take your success, failures, compliments, or critics personally. It teaches you, alone we are powerless, but together we can conquer. So just using we and removing I makes one confident and powerful. It's also a wonderful tool to get the best out of people. It's like a beautiful magic wand. They will cooperate and work together. The moment you say we and not I, the bond becomes stronger. It will help you shift focus from self-focused to people-focused. It will make you aware of others' needs. You will be kind and compassionate. Compassion is the most beautiful quality that helps us to build relationship and grow. As a child, for a long time, I didn't know. Today, I'm grateful to my father I owe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, we remembered this poem, Don't Quit, by Edgar, I think. Yeah. We were transported to our classrooms where we teach this poem.
Yes.
Both the poems are fantastic, and the concept of we, yeah, we really enjoyed. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. And now we move on to another young, talented person, and he is Ayush Kumar Biswal. Ayush Kumar, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm there. Namaste to all. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for this wonderful opportunity. Sorry, ma'am, there's a power cut in my place, so I'm not able to turn on my video, like it's dark.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
My first poem is titled "I'm Special." It's a poem dedicated to the specially abled children. Uh, the poem is, I may have broken limbs, but I have a heart like you. You may think I'm odd, but I'm the messenger of God. I'm proud to say that the Almighty God has sent me with a special sword to conquer and kill and destroy any barrier lying nearby. You kicked me out of your world and gave the title of disabled. But that doesn't make me sad because being unique is not bad. You will never understand my life's mysterious process. Just remember that you'll badly be defeated once I reach the zenith of success. Once I reach the zenith of success. My second poem is titled The Cry of a Mother. Uh, it's a kind of metaphorical poem. Just try to get, I would tell everyone, just try to guess the theme. Uh, the poem is, the dark gloomy clouds float overhead of fear, dismay, betrayal, and hatred. Mind filled with loathing and desire for an eternal bloodshed begins a creature's attempt to destroy his heavenly shed. Two huge demons with swords in their mouth, poison and blood being together spit out. With their threatening to destroy each other, here begins mass slaughter. Terrified people and ironically justified crimes. All hope is lost during these tough times. There's a thunder of greed and rain of battle without realizing that the result would be fatal. Have time and fate locked me up in some invisible cage to see my children perish before they reach the adult age? Or perhaps in their upbringing, I left some gap. That is why my children are fighting on my own lap. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Both the poems were really very beautiful. We all are handicapped and we all are specially able, we all are, we realize our handicaps at many times and we all sail in the same boat. We really have empathy with all the differently able children, and both the poems were fantastically written. Thank you. And now we move on to Dr. Aparna Ajit. Are you there, ma'am? Dr. Aparna?
Oh, she's not there.
Savitri Krantikar? Shruti Bharadwaj?
No, she is not there. Manjushri ma'am, we have a poet who has an emergency. Can she recite?
Yes. You tell me her name.
We have Shirley Verghese first. Yeah. Shirley, will you please unmute yourself? So she is the youngest poet of Impish Publishing House from Bangalore.
Hi. I was not ready because I didn't know I'll get a chance. So I'll just open my poem. 1 minute.
Okay.
1 second, yeah. So meanwhile, just want to tell you that I'm really happy that I got an opportunity to listen to such lovely poems, and also that you gave an opportunity for everyone to actually read. This is really nice. And I have 2 short poems to read in today, and I've never done this before, so I'm really pleased that you gave me an opportunity. One is called Persistence of Life, and why I want to talk about it is that most of the time we don't value it, but all the time life is drawing something out of us, and so I thought that I should paraphrase it and bring it to you. Never-ending shackles of life drags you on. You and I, both broken and battered, trapped by inescapable circles of obligations, impotent dreams and aborted desires, wilt before its first shoots bloom. Wisdom and realizations appear too late to save hope aflame at the altar of survival. Shriveled veins throb again with a will, nourishing the spent body, mind, and soul. Life persists, gasping for breath, and the weary, imperfect being rejuvenates. Bristling courage emerges to trudge along to fulfill the mysterious purpose of existence. There is so much to desire and to give, beauty and destiny to be discovered. Pierce the thick clouds of ignorance just to behold the gift of a lifetime of love. That was my first poem, and I will just read the next one. The next poem is known as The Significance of Insignificance. And why I thought of writing that is because we all somewhere think that we are very special, we are something. And actually, if we were to put ourselves on a larger canvas, then we are hardly anything. And then we want to make a meaning of our life. So that's what I wanted to bring out in this poem. I am a single grain of sand on the vast seashore, soaked in salty water from oceans. I am a single star of the endless Milky Way. You can hardly tell one from another. I am a solitary human soul with the breath of life among the multitude of humanity. My infinity is limited to the destined counts of my breath to manifest varied talents embedded, fulfill aspirations and fantasies. In that minuscule span of existence, I must create the niche to contain me, and you to soar to thrilling heights, to make it worthwhile here. How insignificant are they, the sand, the star, the soul? Only a probing mind synchronizes with the cosmic source to reveal the insignificance of being an individual. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Both the poems are really fantastic. Nice expression. Yeah.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It has been lovely to listen to every one of you. I really was sitting through right from the beginning.
We are honored, ma'am. Thank you. And now we move on to our next poet. Is Miss Dr. Aparna Ajit there? Is she? I think she's not there. Then Savitri Krantikar?
No, she's not.
Shruti Bharadwaj?
No.
Okay, then we move on to Vidisha Bagwe. I think she's also not there. And now we have Dr. Sunil Kumar Naveen. He is from Koradi, Nagpur. He is also principal and he's also written many books and short stories. And we've included some of the short stories in our syllabus also. So welcome, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, madam. It is so nice. I feel like congratulating Dr. Manjushri Sardesh Pandey and Meena Mishra, madam. It is a great task that you have done. The first poem which I would like to recite is Guava Tree. And this is in the form of a conversation between the son and the son is very young and the father. The son, while very young, waters the sapling of guava every day. He is disappointed at its slow pace, slow growth, and keeps pestering his father for it. The time comes when the sapling has become a big tree bearing fruits, but the son is now no more, as he has left for the heavenly abode after a short illness. Can't it grow faster? I am fed up at its slow pace, my son complained. Dejection and disappointed clearly writ large on his face. Each morn he poured a pail of water around a small guava twig, braving to come up even in hot summer. Why don't you become the next day as big as your father is? rebuked him one day, pestered with the same silly question every day, and soon tried to console him with, "It's nature, my son, it's nature. Neither I nor anyone can make it grow faster. Wait for a few years. This small twig will suffer heat and cold, and rain and storm, and defeat rough weather to become a big one, to present you with sweet smelling blossoms and rich rewards of your labor and faith, which you need to share with others. For birds and beasts will come, and flies and bees too will claim their share." My son twitched his nose, I found, and he pronounced, "No, no, I will share with none. I will shoo the birds away and shoo away the beasts as well, and never allow flies to sit on them, and never the bees steal their sweet fragrance." Years rolled by, flowers and fruits load the tree, birds and beasts come and dance and jump, but my son is nowhere around. For one evening, while still in his mother's lap, closed his eyes after a short illness. I touch its soft petals as if I caress my son's cheeks, and when I see them smile, I look up to the heaven. I feel my son smiles through. This was the first piece. And the second one is Monkey's Lamentation, which can be read in continuation of the first one. Once there stood in my courtyard a tall and majestic and sprawling guava tree. Nature loaded it with its bounty free. Wasn't it a heaven for birds and bees, but most of all, monkeys? They flocked on the branches, and merrily they danced and jumped. That thrilled us with great delight. We all loved this sight. It was celestial indeed to watch the bees collecting nectar from petals soft, and tiny birds with long thin pointed beaks piercing sharp into the middle of flowers, sucking their sap, were tossed by the wind aloft. One day, years after, my wrath mounted high at the litter of wasted fruits and flowers on the terrace and the ground below. A hacker I called to fell it down, and thus unceremonious on the ground lay the crown. An uncanny sadness seeped that got me unnerved. I wished it had been there, no matter how often I fumed and fretted at the litter. Even the monkeys are puzzled to miss their old friend. They come on the terrace, perhaps from far end, sit for a while, bending low as if in some meditation, at their friend's loss in lamentation. From a slit I observe a blankness in their eyes. I remain to dismay as they jump away. Thank you, Sir Deshpande Madam. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for both the narrative poems. Thank you. And now we move on to our next participant, Aparna Patwardhan Bhatt. Is she there? Aparna,
No, she's not.
Then Ashok Thandawali. He's there.
Yes, ma'am. I am here, ma'am.
Yes, please start.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so a very pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much, Manjula ma'am and Manju ma'am and Meena ma'am for this opportunity. And my first poem is written during Corona times, and the title of the poem is Few Lines on Life During Corona, Lockdown and Online Teaching. I'm sure most of us are teachers, and online teaching we all can relate to. So it goes like this. I have written this poem with AABB rhyme scheme. 4 lines each stanza. So a tiny virus that's unseen brought huge changes unforeseen. Seems like a call from nature to get back to it that's ever ready to nurture. Told us the importance of vitamin C that's found in every orange, pine, and apple we see. Societies and human life became so sophisticated that the nature wants us all to be vaccinated. People are locked down, kept in quarantine, not to roam town, and our spirits down. Many lives lost and many lives saved. That to masks and sanitizers we are enslaved. But life has to go on, even if it needs a mask to be put on. Everyone that has life has to live. If not live, at least to survive, we strive. For all those noble teachers, these are weird at new chapters to get to know, to teach online that has them more learning than teaching and shine. First, it was the big brother Zoom. Then came Google Meet to help us to bloom. Now we have Microsoft Teams to teach and to learn as we to all students reach. The meet is scheduled and rescheduled, and it's wrong to join any other meet you unscheduled. Some students complain about network issues that are sometimes lie, naughty, or true. Then came this work from home because outside you are under a danger dome. Teachers know to take attendance of their students, and now it's their turn to give their own attendance for their documents. Teachers becoming students all over again, from taking attendance to giving it for their gain. This extraordinary corona gave extra efforts to teachers. And what is life if it's not known for our adaptable efforts, my fellow dreamers? Too tiny a dust life is that goes off when the universe snips. Don't be dust and rust, stand alone to live and let live. So this is my first poem, ma'am. And my second poem is titled as Dark Night and Bright Day, equaling to death and life, because insomniac people like me, we have a very tough time sleeping at night, and it seems like a very long, dark, sad night. So those times, I have written this poem very recently, and I hope people can relate to this too. Dark night and bright day, death and life. These dark clouds, the gloomy skies, and this darkness, they all make me sick. They make me sad and lose hope as if there's no life. Oh, but wait, I see something. Something in the dark lit sky. There is this curious crescent moon hiding behind those dark moving clouds. There is that naughty North Star, so dimly visible. Oh, yeah. There's also this bright orange sun trying to rise to bring yet another day to life. And suddenly I feel rejuvenated, bright, and feel my hopes coming back to life as the sun rises. This beautiful nature, by rising to life again from the deadly dark night, brings back my hopes and life back to another day. Nature seems to be talking to me directly, whispering into my ears, mind, and heart. And I, in my realization, told to the nature, or told to myself, are we both told to each other? Are we recited together? There are still hopes to be hoped. There are still heights to be climbed, still miles to be walked, goals to be reached. tasks to be done, dreams to be fulfilled, and most importantly, there is still life to be lived and still love to be loved and understood.
Very optimistic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
That's all.
Yes,
Thank you very
yes,
much for the opportunity, ma'am.
yes.
Especially for organizing this beautiful thing on this beautiful Sunday. Thank you very much.
Excellently articulated, Ashok. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very
And
much, ma'am.
we move on to the next participant. Dr. Nutan Kumari, are you there? Then we move on to Dr. Suchita Marathe. She's the Vice Principal of Srimati Binzani Mahila Mahavidyalaya. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I'm very much there. Thank you, Manjushri ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Good afternoon to everyone. It has been a wonderful treat to hear all the beautiful poems. And I'm very happy to present my 2 poems before this erudite and creative crowd. The first poem, the title of my poem is Scented Pieces. This is a metaphor.
Just a moment. Something is echoing. So is there your mobile or something near you?
No,
something
I
is
have
I
only
have
one.
muted another poet. That was Mr. K. Ashok.
Okay,
Unmuted.
okay.
I have only one device here, ma'am.
Okay.
It's done. Should I continue?
Yeah, because something was echoing. Yes, now you can.
Very. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. As I said, it was a really wonderful treat to hear all the creative voices of poets on one platform. It was surely a very wonderful Sunday morning. Thanks to Dr. Manjushri Madam and Meena Mishra Madam for this wonderful opportunity. I'm presenting 2 poems. The first of my poems, the title and the theme is Scented Pieces. This is a metaphor used for all the literature pieces which we have been influenced with. The simulating experiences in these literature pieces have enriched us. And here I'm talking about that experience. And also I'm praying to God to also make me worthwhile to produce such literary pieces. So I begin. Literature is a perfumed enigma that spreads its fragrance. The fragrance floats on the vibrant air. It mesmerizes those thirsty souls who show they care. Sometimes a verse reveals its heart, and sometimes it veils the recesses. Sometimes a narrative touches a chord, sometimes a story reverberates. The agonies of nemesis and discords. Sometimes dialogues resonate diverse connotations. Sometimes the hamartia evokes intense emotions and purges the genuine soul of conflicting emotions. I have always wondered at these creative snares who enslave our thoughts and bond our cares. Sometimes I feel that the writer is God who can puppet characters and their mood. God, give me talent to pick up nuances which these scented literary pieces scatter on the panorama of style and like kerchief gathers the scent of jasmines in its fold. Let me too wear the scent of these literary pieces better than gems and golds and make my living a little worthwhile and make my living a little worthwhile. The second poem is about universal love. We all love getting gifts and we look forward to getting gifts, even though we may be full of humility and saying that we don't love gifts. But it's a little bit humorous poems about our universal love of gifts. The gifts, big and small, are forever to be treasured, not in material standards can they be measured. People may deny in all humility, but gifts are desired in all totality by handsome men and beautiful lasses, and old and young from all social classes. Rich and poor alike are attracted, and in no way can they be distracted from waiting sometimes fruitlessly for souvenirs, albeit shamelessly. The object of wait can be useless, but we continue the wait nevertheless. On our birthdays and anniversaries, we all wait for those colorful fantasies, which come covered in golden and silken, in varied shapes, hues, yellow and crimson. The tiny tots are especially excited. They receive guests with eyes fixated until the parcels in hand are safely deposited in their outstretched hands when greeted. The most risky give and take of presence, cultivating high-powered resents, is of course between man and wife, a green wound unhealed for life. The surprise gifts are the most coveted. The tiny and the lavish are all mentally noted. The magnanimous gift givers are highly doted, getting first rank in invitations gloriously floated. We all crave for gifts, but few vehemently admit it's human. So don't worry, we have universal permit. It's human, so don't worry, we have universal permit. Thank you again so much, madam, for this wonderful treat on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Marathi ma'am. And now we move on to the next poet, Dominic Arivasu Matthias. Is he there?
No, he isn't.
Okay, then the next, Vishal Vaid.
Doesn't.
Anuradha Paul.
No.
Okay, then Bachevas Srinivas, we have you here. So I invite you to recite your poems.
Hello.
Yes, please turn your video on.
This is Bacheval Srinivas. Am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Once again, very good afternoon, and very thankful for this wonderful opportunity. This is for the second time I'm reciting my poems. It was.
Sir, we can't see you, sir.
Okay, madam. You can. I have just begun my video. Now I think you are.
Yes.
I'm visible.
Yes, now you are visible.
Okay. So the first poem, my title of the first poem is Train a Training. It has been composed 2 years ago when I was traveling by train to Hyderabad. So I'm going to present this. The lines are like this. Train a training. It takes one close to the nature, makes one to assess the future, depicting the grasslands and mangoes grows with the glimpses of lovely birds, wheat and weed crops, training the men in opposite rows to share their joys and sorrows. They use it to immerse in inspiring books where we involve ourselves in Facebooks, on which we relish healthy food, keeping the consciously wealthy mood. Rail is the best ambassador of national unity, collaborating the regional diversity. Train journey is apt for travel long, not making you get bored so long. It's a boon for lower middle class for a trip, strengthening them, saving money as a thrift. Equipped with the rooms for bio break, we salute the personnel for its make. So this is my first poem, and I'm going to recite my second poem. The second poem is composed on the occasion of the International Anti-Tobacco Day, May 31st. The lines are like this. Say no to tobacco. Life is a gift of the Lord, cherish to fulfill it bought. Life is a gift of the Lord, cherish to fulfill it bought. Lungs are essential for breath. Cigarettes are extremely harmful path. They are inhaling the deadly thrash at the cost of gullet and palate smash. The liver is not at all your lover, lest you lose your liver as a dried flower. Smoking makes you a pauper suffer, though it has princely king to offer. Neither you consume it as a snack, nor you snuff any debilitating pack. Spread the wonderful hygienic perfumes, spade away the unwanted hazardous fumes. Thank you, madam. These are my two poems, and I once again thank the organizers, host and co-host, for organizing this wonderful afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was nice listening to you. And now we move on to, I think, Rituparna Mukherjee, ma'am.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Your video, please. Your video.
Yeah, please give me a second. I have like really low network here. Can you see me?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I'll read two of my poems. So the first one is called Poignant, and it's based on sort of a memory. So here I go. Looking out the window of a deserted bus to work, the traffic holds no malice today. The wintry morning, with its entrapments of foggy, embowered trees, glistens in the mellow sunshine. A whiff of fresh air holds new putridity of later day and sends a poignant shadow of the smell of your hair. The way it used to breathe on me, alive with the promise of sentient love. Or your eyes, how they would change color with the sun in them, glow with laughter, darken with desire, soften with kindness, or cruelly glint in barely concealed sarcasm. It is curious how your embodiment has dissipated in the world around me, and each sense consigns a memory, an experience to be relived, viewed through rosy glasses of a tinted youth, of a privileged distance, of a sorry heart, of jealous misgivings, to be turned on its head and grouped in kaleidoscopic moments, till I dematerialize in them, burn maliciously, and rise anew from its ashes. So this was my first poem. The second poem is a more recent one, and it's written based on whatever is happening around the world. So it's called Anarchy. Sometimes sometimes it seems that the world we called our own is nothing but a parody of a beauty salon. It's filled with narcissists and cowards who shed their veneer of the last 10, 20 years, made with herbs and potent goodwill, of ill-gotten gains and foraged plans, and discover that the masks they had pinned their hopes on have not reduced the ugly marks. They have set like hard cement on their collective faces, never to be washed away, perennially to create a doomed coveting, a feverish desire to own what the other has, to look like the others look, to create an order in anarchy, to regress to a space where neighbors stealthily attack, where humanity cowers in disbelief, where bodies are ruled by strange old men, where choices wither, where the so-called peace burns slowly in the embers of a vengeful earth. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Lovely poems, Rituparna. Lovely, yeah.
Thank you.
And our next participant is Manjula ma'am. She's already there. Yes. Over to you,
Am I audible, ma'am? Yeah.
Yes, you
Am I
are audible. Yes.
Yeah. First of all, thank you all for giving me this golden opportunity. This is my first presentation ever. I'm a little bit nervous. Please bear with me. Yeah, my first poem goes like this. It's an agony of mothers whose services are neglected and also abandoned by sons. So here it goes. A precious gem is lost, nowhere to trace. Attachments pillared strong, love and affection cemented bond. Allowed not to shed the ingrained memories. Deep in the heart, an unbearable pain dived into the past hundreds of times, nowhere to find the missing loop. Only to emphasize the hardships handled with abundant love, the challenges accepted with infinite affection, the failures embraced with boundless elegance. Supported the expectations, not the extravagant expenses though, satisfied the needs, not the extreme desires though, sacrificed energy and time, not as duty though. Nevertheless, I am looked upon ultra-conservative, outdated, and so on. Alas, none could visualize or experience my pain. Hence, I remain muted myself as if all is well. So that is my first poem, ma'am. And the second poem, this is about something like a discussion between God and oneself. We always seek solutions and answers from the Almighty, but I feel all the solutions are to all our miseries lies within us. So this I have titled as A Forlorn Soul Enlightened. So the poem describes the three phases of the soul. The first one is an appeal to God. Oh Lord, my superpower, I come on to you. See my shattered heart, fragile soul, and weak mind. I look physically fit, but psychologically sick. Oh Lord, my supreme doctor, I come on to you. Diagnose my disease, scan my body, mind and soul, mend my heart, heal my soul, and nourish my mind. Oh Lord, my supreme creator, I come on to you, spruce up my inner self. It's a bin of blasphemy, den of desires, form of fallacies, storehouse of sins. And now the soul introspects itself. Oh Lord, my divine spirit, I know your love is incredible, infallible, ingrained, and impregnable. I know not why I always remain morbid, ignoramus, and insane to perceive your love. I know you bless me always with blissful blessings. I know not why my soul always swings in stressful sorrows. I know you nourish my needs and justify my deeds in perfect time. I know not why my heart pines for worthless worldly pleasures all the time. I know you keep me on diet but never starve me, just to make me fit and healthy. I know not why my mind craves for unseen sour grapes making me sick. I know you willfully delay to answer my prayers just to provide me the best. I know not why I always misconstrue and languish by the time I receive the best. I know in every walk of my life you made me experience your love. I know not why I pester you with my endless list of destructive desires, instead counting my blessings. I know you keep your promises and be with me till my last breath. I know not why I always feel abandoned, struggling breathless in the ocean of life. I ponder upon and debate myself. Is my faith lacking? Is my trust wavering? Is my belief diminishing? Lord, my Almighty, I thank Thee for the delightful diagnosis and precise prescription for a remarkable realization. I now know contentment and satisfaction, the best medicines to heal my ailments. I know not why, how I was so ignorant of this simple remedy to overcome my adversities. O Lord, my navigator, all my doubts and fears are gone. Mysterious calm and quiet assurances rising deep within me. What a relief. O Lord, the omnipresent, I sense your presence in me. I surrender my soul, guide my path, make me an instrument of thy peace. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. You patiently waited for such a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Because
you.
I wanted it to do. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm really so excited today because all the experts sitting over there and I'm being myself. And I just started.
You are an expert also. We really enjoyed your poem.
So much. Thank you so much.
Now, do we have Yash Oja over here? And if he's not there, we are going to have the last one, and that is Paridhi Vyas, who is joined right now. After this, this is the last presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Sorry for inconvenience.
Oh, okay. Who is
Good
this gentleman?
Ma'am. This is Dr. Alok Chand.
No, but this somebody Paridhi requested me. Who is this Paridhi Vyas? Alok sir, you have already recited your poem. Yes. Paridhi Vyas, please.
Yes,
you can start reciting your 2 poems. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. I am Paridhi Vyas from J.N. Tatapasi Girls High School and Junior College. And this is the first time I am ever attending such type of meet. And so my first poem is about someone who loves to read, and it is titled as Bibliophily. Under the roof of a classroom or under the shadow of a tree, she always has a book in hand whenever she is free. Whenever she would read, silence she always loved, and in the shelf of her heart and mind, she has stacked many quaint phrases. The bond which she shares with her books is fraternal, and no matter what turn life may take, her bibliophily will be eternal. The phrase readers are leaders is always in her mind. She tries to learn new words and again reads to trace their origin. And as the years will pass, wider will be her compile throughout her life, and thus thereon she'll always be a bibliophile. And the second poem that I have composed is about how one should not feel alone, no matter in which situation they are. And it is, you aren't alone. Come out of the dark room in which you've locked yourself. Let me show you the world outside, filled with joy and nothing else. Let's bring out the best in thou and show the world your aptitude to make you feel lively from now. Don't let loneliness decide your altitude. Don't isolate yourself anymore. Come, let's unleash the sadness. And in your heart, let's make a door to plant the seed of happiness. And when the days are rough, on thyself don't be tough. And whenever you do feel alone, mine will be the shoulder for you to cry on. Thank you.
Thank you, Parinidhi. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Paridivyas, yeah. And it was nice having some students also. And next time, I think you should be on time. Okay.
So sorry for the cause inconvenience.
No. Okay. But Alok Chandra sir, have you registered? Because I cannot see your name. Have you registered? Okay, quickly you can go through your poems, because then it is already 2:30. You can recite your poems quickly. Alok Chandra sir. You have to unmute yourself.
Thankful to you, ma'am, for giving me a golden opportunity to recite my 2 eco-sensitive poems. Actually, my name is Dr. Alok Chandra and I hail from Nalanda, and I have edited 4 to 5 anthologies of poems and short stories. And my present poems are drenched in the fragrance of eco-spirituality, and they are in the categories of eco poems. So,
where did you get this link from?
Hello?
We had put it in many groups, so he must have got it. I don't know.
Okay,
sir. We had one, I think, Indian seminar on Indian knowledge system. He was a participant over there.
Read the poem, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thankful to you, Manisha, ma'am. And global warming. So it was the summer day of April. Tinku's mother plucks the cucumbers, lemons, and oranges from her house garden and fills them in a basket, saying her son to sell in a market and adjacent to the village. Tinku covers his body under an umbrella and steps out of his house. He eventually sees a dying mouse. After a deep contemplation, he understands the global warming as a primary cause of making the severe mess in the lives of all living and non-living beings of this ecologically unstable world. Before leaving for the village market, Tinku comes to his parental garden again. He is able to feel and hear his soul screaming, and that of the creatures of the garden. Squirrels, parrots, and bees are laying on the earth's surface in chain, and this boy's hearty on the earth's surface in chain, and this boy's hearty toil in saving them goes in vain. He finds himself sinking deep into his own oceanic emotions. He hears the grandpa's voice and comes running like a deer who searches for the source of the water under the scorching sun. The emission of carbon monoxide through vehicles, air conditioners, and refrigerators has proved demonic, and the Earth's temperature is soaring up without following the environmental ethics. Tinku's grandpa tells him not to be in mental tension. Battery-enabled electric and solar rickshaws vehicles and the scooters must be the practical
Sir,
diagnosis.
just a moment. This is a poet's meet. Is it a poem?
Yes, ma'am. Free verse, in free verse. Okay, ma'am, let me jump over my second poem, ma'am, tree, the perennial significance of tree. So we have to maintain the environmental balance. So let me recite my second poem, ma'am. Trees are shelter house, providing a congenial place for the birds, bees, and mammals, for protecting them from the sunburn and heavy wind. Trees are the purifiers of the earth's air, helping in the pollution-free air for the healthy survival of humans and animals. Trees are the symbols of utmost divinity, uniting the families, friends, and relatives at the time of the wedding ceremony, wedding and religious rituals. Trees becomes the coolers at the time of hot temperature in the surrounding, releasing the cool wind for humans, animals, and birds for a hassle-free sound sleep. Trees absorb the poisonous dust from the atmosphere, making the entire humanity safe from diseases and avoiding any chance of tears. Trees give us fruits, allowing ourselves to make their pickles and juices. Let us preserve the trees, for there would be ecological harmony on the earth.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So with this, I think we come to the end of our... No, Supan sir. I know, I understand free verse also. Yeah, but... and Alok sir, you need to register. I think you have not registered. So with this, we come to the end of this poetry meet. And it was wonderful listening to different kinds of poetry. And we all have been here since last 4 hours. So I think it was a whole, yes, poetic treat for each one of us. And I would like, at the outset, I would like to thank, first of all, Kamla Vijayaratne ma'am. Actually, she was not techno-savvy also, but she made all the efforts and joined us. So it was, so it took up really this poets meet to a next level, I think, with her presence. And thank you very much, ma'am. I'm also thankful to our guests of honor, Zareen ma'am and Shri Santhini ma'am. Both of them were here, and I should say at really odd hours, because I think it was 12:30 in the night. So I'm really thankful to you for sparing your valuable time and reciting your poems for our audience. And I would like to thank all the guests and foreign poets who joined. Yeah, everybody was in a different time zone, but they really made it to this meet. Thank you very much. And special word of thanks to Meena Mishra ma'am for your wholehearted support, because without you, I don't think this would have been possible. And the level, yes, with which the level was really fantastic, because we really had poets from different parts of the world, from different parts of India also. So we could listen to really good poets and their thoughts, and something about right from social concerns to environment and to the prayers to God, and so many different things. So it was really fantastic, and we enjoyed every bit of it. Over to Meena Mishra ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's time to have food. Yes. Everybody is hungry and waiting for this meet to get over, but you are patient enough to be here till now. Jyotirmaya Thakur ma'am, who has joined from UK, she was facing technical problem in joining, but still she woke up and she joined it. Thank you so much, ma'am. it's wonderful to see, like, Indian poets going abroad and doing so well. Yeah, getting established as poets across the world. So many Indian poets we can see, and she is an inspiration. Manjushri Sardeshpande ma'am, as I've already said, she is a true inspiration. I see one post of her, she is in Delhi, and the other part I see she's in MP, and she's here and she's there, and she's conducting this, she is conducting that. So, like, when we talk about enterprising women, and when I think of them, so one name that comes to my mind is Manjushri ma'am. So thank you so much for making the Impish Publishing House a part of this event. I would always love to be a part of the events wherein, we have poets and writers getting a chance to present themselves. And actually, they should be promoted. They don't get a chance. Simply writing and getting published, like, okay, fine. So you published it in the book, then what? So what is the next level? So thank you for providing that platform to the poets. It was a wonderful initiative by you and your college. Thank you so much, everyone. I think it's time for us to have a lunch.
Yes. Before calling it a day, let me tell you that I'll be putting a feedback, link on your on the WhatsApp group. After you fill the feedback form, you will be getting your certificates immediately. It will be there in your email box. So do not forget to just fill the feedback form because it's important for us. The second thing is we would be informing you about the anthology, if we are going to bring out an anthology and a compilation of all the poems which were read today. And keep in touch. Don't leave the group because we'll be putting all the information on the group. And I have given one email ID also on which you need to send your poems. So only 14-15 people have sent their poems. I would like all of you who want their poems to be published, they should send their poems on this particular email ID. So don't forget to do that. And thank you very much.
Ma'am, one last question, ma'am. Can we do some changes in the poems what we have mailed already?
Yeah, you can. Right now we have not. You can send your the second one, and or you write over there. It is a revised version.
Okay.
So we'll understand.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Meena ma'am, and thank you everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Bye bye.